Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Dommies, I guess I should say. Welcome back to another WDD Live. Say hi in the chat as soon as the stream begins. Make sure you toss up some likes to get the stream started. We've got, YouTube's got to get the algorithm going.
Hello.
Oh, here we go again. I made the same mistake as last time. That's how long the delay is, by the way, it's kind of annoying. I wish there wasn't that delay. I had the stream going in the background, so it kind of duplicates over. Let me go and look at the chat in the software. That would be the best way to do it. Calisthenics Ireland is here. Andrew, Ruben, Gavin, Launch Site. Somebody called Launch Site. Dan Stanley, the Hunzi's here. Got a lot of familiar faces and some new faces as well, which is fantastic. Aston is here. Aston. I don't know. From China. Vit is here. Mans is here. Daniel's here. Paul is here. Jason. Welcome, everybody. Just to give you, if you are new here, just to let you know what we do on WDD Live, it's kind of a mixed bag. It's called Web Design for Dommies, which is a Dommie is somebody who cares about the DOM, somebody who cares about the underlying code quality, site architecture, best practices, BEM, accessibility. Okay, all the stuff that's, not obvious. But we do talk about the obvious things as well. We talk about the UI design and the UX design, and we talk about the copywriting. And we go very deep on our website critiques. But that's not all that we do here. We don't just do website critiques. We do Q&A on every imaginable web design related topic, including business. We do live looks at things. We do live looks at different builders and tools. We do a lot of fun things. And so it is a great place and a great time to hang out every single Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And as you can see, we've got all these great people here for this stream. And so what our agenda is for today, just so everybody knows, we've got at least one. Yes, James says we rant about practices and Elementor users and things like that. Definitely some rants on WDD Live. Today's agenda, we definitely have at least one in-depth website critique. We have a live look at Cwicly, their components feature. We're going to take a look at that together. This is kind of a first look. It's not like the first time I've seen it, but it's really the first time I've interacted with it. So it is kind of a real first look. And, I'm a big proponent of components. I have said that it's the biggest feature missing from Oxygen and Bricks and every other builder that doesn't have it. But definitely Oxygen and Bricks, because of the other kinds of functionality that they have, it would be a kind of functionality that you would expect. And so the fact that they don't have it is a big disappointment. And I do hope that they will implement it. I do believe that they will have to implement it based on the developments of Cwicly and Webflow and the like, right? I just don't know how fast. And I will say this. I haven't heard from Thomas on the components front. I haven't asked him. I could ask him what he thinks, but I haven't heard anything. I don't know. What I would hope to have happen is that, like as with Cwicly, the developers of the page builders are, forward thinking. And if it were me. So for example, like with automatic CSS, container queries, I feel container queries are going to be a really big deal in CSS. They're not here 100% yet. Like the support, browser support's in the 80s, the high 80s. When it gets into the low 90s, it's a wrap. Like we're going to start using container queries. And my prediction is that container queries are going to be wildly influential and powerful and widely used. Now, some developers have already disagreed with me. They've pushed back. It's just for advanced users or what. No, I don't think so. I think as widely used as media queries will be container queries. That's just how I see it. Okay. And so they may not agree with me, whatever. But because I see it that way, I have already been implementing container queries in automatic CSS. Now, the level to which a container query can be implemented in a framework, appears to be fairly limited. Container queries are, like media queries, are going to be a very custom thing. It depends on what you're trying to achieve with the component, with the element, whatever. And so you write custom CSS inside of a container query based on what you're looking at, based on what you need to have happen. It's not like a presets kind of deal. It's not like a throw some utility classes on it kind of thing. Nevertheless, they're going to be insanely important. That is my prediction. They're going to be insanely important. And so knowing that they're insanely important, what do you see me doing? You see me teaching them. You see me talking about them. You see me beginning to implement container queries into automatic CSS as much as we possibly can. That's what forward thinking looks like. That's what innovation looks like. That's what leadership in the space looks like. So if I had to knock, bricks and oxygen as it stands right now, it's just facts. Cwicly is leading the charge on component-based functionality, obviously. And it's a little bit disappointing that I haven't heard a peep out of bricks on the component functionality front. I get it. They're busy. Hey, so am I. Hey, it turns out I'm a little busy too, okay? Doesn't stop me from talking about certain things. And with Oxygen, I have heard a peep out of Oxygen. What I've mainly heard so far from Oxygen, unfortunately, is like pushback of like, we don't know. Will people actually use components? Well, that kind of thing. And so it is what it is. I'm just saying it's a little disappointing. To me, it's an obvious thing. I'll show you when we do the live looking Cwicly. It should be obvious. It should be obvious how important and powerful this kind of functionality is. I don't know why everybody doesn't get it. But it is what it is. And some people will be last to the party and some people will be first to the party. And we all get to decide what time we want to show up to the party, I guess. Okay. Save your questions. So that's the agenda. The agenda is going to be in-depth web design critique, Cwicly live look, then Q&A. If we manage to get to 2 critiques today, maybe we can. We're going to play it by ear. We're going to do 1 critique first, then we're going to do the Cwicly thing, then we're going to do Q&A, and we'll play it by ear. But save your questions if you have questions. And I do want to say this. People ask me detailed questions all the time. You can't believe, man. I do a video on YouTube showing a specific thing. It's 30 minutes long. People will leave a comment, and the comment is like 4 different questions, and they're detailed questions. And it's like, I can't answer this in a YouTube comment. So what I end up saying is, hey, come to a WDD live, ask your question on the WDD live, and I will answer it there in detail. And this is so WDD live is your opportunities. But the same thing, when you show up to WDD live, don't just pop off with your questions. Wait till the Q&A segment. Then I'm going to say, hey, questions, let's go. You pop in your questions, okay? But, sometimes those people don't show up. We need you to show up to the Q&A segment. That's what makes the Q&A segment lively. But hold those questions for the Q&A segment. All right, that's it. We're going to hop into our first critique here. I'm going to go ahead while I ramble, and I'm going to pull this up. And this is actually from a regular WDD live viewer and a person that I believe is in the inner circle, kind of in all the things. They're in all the things. And we've done one of their sites before on the stream. I saw this actually in it was maybe the ACSS group or the inner circle. I can't remember. There's too many places. But I saw that they submitted it, and I pulled it up, and I was like, oh, this will make a good one. This will make a good one. And it's a good change of pace. And I will say this, guys, if you submit your agency website, agency websites like that, it gets right. To make WDD Live really good, we need sites from other industries. So if you submit your agency site, that's all good and fine and dandy, but I mainly skip them over. Like every now and again, I'll do an agency site. But if we do an agency site on like every single stream, it's like, oh my God, it's another agency site. Give us things to talk about in other industries. That's going to make WDD Live much more valuable. All right, so I'm going to pull this up and we'll go ahead and make sure that we're screen sharing properly. It appears that we are. And this is the site. Okay. And I don't know if Tyree, this is Tyree's site. I don't know if Tyree is actually here live on the stream. If he is, he should say hi in the comments. Because I may have some questions for Tyree. We've talked about this on the past. You know, it's like if the person's actually here in the stream, it's better. I don't want to bring them on live and do the audio thing and all that. It's a lot of logistics. But if they are here in the stream and can comment back, then that would be good. So we're going to do a no scroll test to start off with. I see the logo at top left is called Handle Life. Now, the logo itself, there's no tagline to go with the logo. So the logo itself, and it's not obvious. I mean, that's the stripes on a basketball. Like I can see, okay, I get the context from here to there. If you saw the logo by itself, you wouldn't have any context as to what this company is. So it's relying on what's going on in the hero and the rest of the page, obviously, to get the point across. I don't know if there's a little bit of a maybe room beside here or under here that we could make a case for, hey, you know, should we have a tagline? Should we have a tagline to go with this logo? I don't know. It works the way that it is. I'm just saying, could it be maybe one step up if it had a little tagline to go with it? Then in the nav over here, I see heavy ball, I see training, I see apparel, I see support. This is a very simple navigation. Right off the bat, we can test out tabability here, which it does appear that we can. And hey, I just did a PB 101 on navigation. You know, we could go right into DOM. We could go right into looking at things. Let me put this on the left-hand side. Always works best that way on streams. We have a nav, we have a UL, we have LIs. This is using bricks, so probably using the bricks nav element. So all that stuff is going to be good pretty much out of the box by default. And then we have a hero that says elevate your handle with the heavy ball. We got to digest that. Elevate your handle with the heavy ball. Elevate your... I'm not a big basketball guy. I'll just tell you right now. Look, I guess I like basketball culture. I don't like basketball sport. I don't like the sport of basketball. I'm sorry. It's like my least, well, it's not my least favorite sport. Football by far blows basketball out of the water. It's not even a competition. Don't at me. We don't have to talk about it. It's just, you're automatically wrong. It's okay. Football, especially college football. College football blows every sport out of the water. But yeah, I'm not huge into basketball. But I've never heard, I'm not dumb. It's not like this is my first time hearing about basketball. I don't know what elevate your handle means. That's what I'm getting at. Okay, I'm going to keep reading. Train like the pros with their heavy ball of choice and gain free access to programs from their NBA skills coach. Buy ball. Okay. Designed to, I'm scrolling around. I guess I shouldn't be scrolling around. So what are my first thoughts on the hero section? First of all, a hero section should capture attention. It should create interest and intrigue. It should clearly communicate exactly what's going on here. And this hero section visually is striking. I really like the hero section visually. It's a very engaging photo. It's a high quality photo. It's got a solid quality cutout. I love the shape in the background. I love the color. I love the color on the shirt matches the color used in the background. This is the logo on the shirt. The cohesion here, the brand cohesiveness here is very well done in my opinion. Even the brand color in the ball stripes matching everything. This is, and this is not easy to achieve because here's the thing. This isn't just a designer doing design things. This is photography has to be involved. So the photographers got to get their job right, which they did. The product itself. So this goes into product design. Like this is web design, photography, product design, and branding all coming together at the same time in a very cohesive way. And you see what that produces. That produces a very, it's good. It's good, right? So everything that's going on in the hero is great. I like this little block right here. This, it's a standard format. It's a hero heading, it's a lead paragraph, it's a call to action, and then it's like your top talking points. But they took the talking points and they put it in a format you don't see very often. So it's got this block coming out of the side of the screen. It's got the product back in here as well. And then just, a fairly simple list of things that they want to call out, which is good. And then they've got the logos coming through here, which says trusted by. This is the only section of the hero that I'm not quite sure about. It feels like there's too much white space in this little block right here. Can I get my screen annotator up here? Annotates. Yeah, I guess I can. Okay. So this just feels like a lot of wasted space, and it's kind of pushing the logo bar down below the other content. Not to mention, we do also have a lot of white space going on right here. So if I was going to nitpick, it's like everything in this area just feels a little bit off balance compared to everything else that's going on. The other thing that feels a little bit off balance is the white space here. So you've got that amount of white space and then this amount of white space. And you can see those are two very different things. And so I think what we have to look at, and I've shown this here too, and when we have a good site, we can look at more details because we're not going to get stuck on all the things that are wrong. So we can look at things that we don't normally look at on sites like this. And so this presents a problem. It's actually a common challenge. Whenever you overlap things, that's the wrong tool. This is the amount of overlap that we're dealing with right here. We've got to somehow measure this overlap so that we know the value of it, and then we can apply that value to in here somewhere. And then that can create our even spacing top and bottom, okay? So if we look at how, we would need to really dissect this page and see how this overlap is being accomplished. So we've got a div there, we've got a div here, and there's going to be a lot going on. And this is easier to do if you can get access into the builder. So that's a separate section down here. Okay, so I didn't expect that. All right, the logos are actually in their own section. So we've got a section for the hero, then we've got a section for the logos. And you could actually see one of the problems right here. So that green outline is the padding that is in this section. And the section below, you can see that green. And so there's actually a duplication of spacing. There's the bottom padding here being added to the top padding here. And because they're both the same color, it's creating extra space where there doesn't need to be extra space. So one way we can start to fix that white space problem that I just alluded to here, and I'm just going to do this. You wouldn't want to do this like this, but if I go to padding top, being able to type is a good prerequisite for working in web design. But if we do something like, now it doesn't necessarily have to be 0, but I actually think 0 would work well there. If, this logo thing being below this is also throwing some stuff off visually. But you want to take one of those paddings away. One of those paddings is not needed. They're being added to each other and it's creating extra space. Now, let's figure out where this block is. I'm guessing it's in the hero section then. So we're going to come down here, div. Actually, I'm not. Where is it? Here. That appears to be that block. So we can just display this none and see if it goes away. That is it. Correct. Okay. That's in the block with the logos. Interesting. And this is interesting semantically because I thought that was a section of logos, like a trust section, but it's actually a talking point section. These are two different topics kind of sharing the same section, which is interesting. I'm not commenting saying that it's necessarily wrong right now. I'm just trying to figure it out. Okay, so we've got a margin top of a calc of section space XXL times -1. So they're taking the value of section space XXL, they're creating it negative, and that is what's going and bringing it up. So if we take this to 0, then that's where it was placed to begin with. And then with the negative section space XXL, now I'm curious to see what they did with the padding in this section. So you should see like the opposite calc. So let's take a look at what they did. Padding bottom, and there you go. Section space XXL. So I don't think that's actually correct. Let's try this. And anytime I do math on a live stream, shit very, very well could go haywire. We're going to take section space XXL and add it to section space M. And that's more along the lines of what I would expect to see. And I think so you're putting the section space, and that may be section space S up there now that I'm looking at it. I probably should have checked that. So padding top, but this is the concept that I would be looking for. Let's go to computed. Well, the computed's not going to help me in this regard. Padding bottom. Why are there some ID? Okay. All right. Because you did this. This is a unique hero section. It's probably buried somewhere down here. Yeah, it is. Okay. All right. So that's just the normal section padding. So that should be equal to M. Basically what I'm getting at here is he knows the amount of this overlap because it's equal to section space XXL. So if you add just section space XXL to the bottom here, you're actually not going to get what you want. You need your normal section padding plus section space XXL to account for the overlap. But you can start to see that opens it up a little bit more. Now you start to get a problem in here. Well, this was being cut off before. I'm just going to refresh. See his feet are being cut off, which tells me, I wonder if this is okay, that's a real image. I'd almost be interested to see what that looks like when the overflow is not cut off. Like if his feet were coming into this section. Now they would need a little bit of I don't know. We'd have to play around with that. That's just something to look at. Maybe he tried that. I don't know. But you can see here that this is clearly not enough space versus this. And if we can get that calculation right, we're going to get perfectly even spacing between these objects, even though this has its own thing going on. So if we were going to nitpick, this is what I would focus on. Clearing up these little white space issues here and there. And now let's talk about the copy. Before we scroll down and look at the rest of the page, I would rewrite this. Let me go to the comments. Is this elevate your handle? Is this like some sort of terminology that's commonly used? Like if I was deep into basketball enough to buy this product, would I know exactly what this means? Somebody's got to help me here. I mean, because copy does need to speak to the target market. I'm clearly not the target market for this, but I'm also not a sports moron. I've never really heard this terminology before. So I'm going to go through and see if somebody is explaining this to me. Sylvia says, I couldn't understand that they sell balls at first glance, but maybe that's because I don't play basketball. Okay. Soccer. Oh, here we go. No, it is. Yeah. Okay. Hey, I'll concede this. I don't know what the Americans were thinking when they named it. It's clearly not, when you punt, when you do field goals, it is football at that point, right? But for the most part, we are throwing the ball, carrying the ball, tossing the ball. And so football, I don't understand. I will concede to you that football and soccer, football is a better term for soccer. I'll concede that. Hey, but what I won't concede is that college I don't have another term for it. American college football is the greatest team sport. Okay, we can move on now. Let's see what people are saying about. Are you in the market for a training ball? If you're not having a basketball. Okay. Top of the head too close to the nav bar bothers me too. Yeah, maybe. So when I was in photography, a lot of portrait photographers, especially if you want a close-up portrait, you're going to crop the top of the head to get a close-up portrait. Some people, that's perfectly fine with them. It makes perfect sense. They're like, That's a close-up. It's close-up. That's what happens in a close-up port. Some people just seem, they cannot handle it. It's like they complain about it, and it doesn't bother me either way. If you can see the top of the person's head, I'm fine. If their top of their head's a little cropped, I'm fine. Like, it's just how photography works. So that doesn't really bother me. I'll just chalk that up to the personal choice category. I would like to see the shadows on the feet in the hero picture. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, if this managed to overlap, he'd actually be like coming out of the hero section, which could be even more impactful, but it relies on the quality of the shadows under the feet. I already know that from a photography standpoint. If the shadows are not good, it's gonna look like he's floating. It's gonna look awful. And it could look like he's floating simply because there's a visual break right here. It's something you would have to, again, test. What I will say is the foot can't half be in and half be out of the hero section. If you're going to make that work, the foot completely has to be out of the hero section into the next section, which then I don't know if there's enough space for it. See, these are the design decisions that actually are very tough, very complicated, and hats off to designers when they are able to really nail this and get it right. Okay, handling dribbling. Elevate your... Okay, that's what he's talking about. Okay, see, in my mind, it's like handle. Is that a fucking name for a hand? Like, it's my handle. I got my handles in basketball. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It's the handling skill. They're shortening that to your handle. Okay, it's alluding to your handling skill. Got it. I don't know that that's the best hero. The best H1 that we can come up with. So if we can get a better heading there, I'd be testing various headings. I think we can get something better for the heading. Train like the pros with their heavy ball of choice and gain free access. So this lead paragraph to me doesn't do the best job. Maybe I'm a parent of a teenager who plays basketball, and I'm coming in, I'm like, gifts for my basketball playing teenager. Okay. This kind of copy is not going to speak to that. This speaks to the person that is like in deep in basketball, but not anybody else. And really good copy should be able to connect with, it obviously speaks to the people who are in deep, but it also has the ability to connect with the people who aren't in deep, right? The people at other stages of the funnel. And so I think we can just do a better job here overall. And I'll give you an example. Train like the pros, which is fine. Train like the pros is fine with their heavy ball of choice. If they're not in deep, they don't know why a heavy ball. First of all, what is a heavy ball? Number two, why does a heavy ball help? It's a little counterintuitive. Okay. And so they are left when somebody who's not in deep reads that lead paragraph, what I think what's going to happen is they're going to get more questions than answers. If your copy creates more questions than answers, by default, it's not really good copy. Okay. Like, they should be able to read this and immediately understand why this thing is important and why they should buy it. Reading this one little paragraph should answer that question for them. And it doesn't. It actually just creates more questions. So now it's like, all right, now I got to learn what a heavy ball is. Like, I get it. This is it. But like, why? Why? It's not answering the why. Why should I care? Is like, if you can't answer why they should care right off the bat, maybe they won't care and maybe they'll leave. So I think this really needs to be improved right here. Okay, we're going to go down and we're going to start looking at the rest of this page. Guys, I said WDD Live, we go deep. Like, we're 20 minutes in probably. What are we at now? 28 minutes in, 8-minute intro. We're 20 minutes of a hero section, okay? It is what it is. This is why people come to WDD Live. We're not just skimming over this stuff. Okay, so the next one says a cheat code to dribble like the professionals. This is much better. This is what I call, and we've said this time and time again on these streams, burying your lead. I mean, I could almost take this heading right here and place it right here, and it'd be a better hero section, right? So you tell me, elevate your handle with the heavy ball. Okay. Or when I first arrive, the first thing I read is a cheat code to dribble like the professionals. I know what a cheat code is. I know what dribbling is, and I know what professionals are. There are no questions in my mind at this point. I'm like, damn, okay. That's exactly what I want. I want to dribble like the professionals, and I want a cheat code for that will be very nice. Why did we bury this better headline further down the page instead of using it right here? If you already have a very impactful headline, put it in the hero section, right? It just seems to make sense. But people do this all the time. All the time, they bury their lead, right? They bury their best content on some other part of the page instead of making it prominent. That's just a simple swap for me. And you could A/B test this all day long, okay? So it's like, oh, well, my client likes this one. All right, well, let's let the data decide. Set up a split test, put this one in the hero on version 2, leave the hero as it is on version 1, see which one wins. Okay. So I guess these are professionals. Kobe White, okay, DeMar, got it. Is this a slider of some sort? It is. I would like to, okay, it is draggable. But there's a problem with the dragability. Maybe because I'm on a stream, I don't know. Notice I don't get any handle. I don't get a hand, right? Where's my little grabber? I want to know that I can grab that and swipe it. I can definitely navigate here. I'm interested to know, is this the default bricks slider? It looks to be. It looks to be. Okay. I'm keyboard navigating. So we're going to see an issue right here. So I'm on buy ball right now. You guys see that? I'm on the outline on buy ball. So when I tab, the focus disappears. I don't know where the focus is right now. It is on the slider though. Okay. So I'm navigating the slider with the keyboard right now, but there is no focus indication that I'm doing that. So that's definitely something that you would want to take a look at. And I don't really know. Let's just figure out what I'm looking at right here in general. So you're saying I get a cheat code to dribble like the professionals, and you're showing me professionals, but I can't click on these professionals. I can't learn anything else about them. I can just see them in cards. And cards, to my mind, is like we're showing clickable information. But this is not clickable. It's going to get your hand over. Okay, these are really testimonials, right? What I need is more visual context that what we're looking at are tests. It's social proof. I won't call them testimonials. We'll just call it social proof. I need more visual indication that I'm looking at social proof. So make these like quotes. Make this like quote text, put quotes in here. There's probably a couple other things that we could do to make this more obvious that these are like, social proof cards. So I'd say that could potentially be improved a little bit. And then I don't know that a slider is just the best way to go here. I would almost just say grid this up. Like put this all in a grid. You got 3, 6, you got 9 cards. No, we don't. Hold on. Okay, that's confusing. There's 3 dots, which indicates 3. Wait, hold on. Chris Paul. All right, so DeMar Rosen's in the middle. Lexi Brown is in the middle. So there are 3 pages. What was happening a second ago when I dragged this? Okay, I guess it's fine. I would just do a grid of 9 cards. And really that visually speaking, it would show you like a wall of social proof almost. Whereas this requires the person to interact. I just make them scroll past a wall of social proof, in my estimation. Like, you're not hiding content anymore. It doesn't require user interaction, and it accomplishes the goal of, like, look at all these professionals that back up this product. It creates a more striking, like, wow, a lot of professionals back this product, which right now you're hiding 6 of the 9 of them. If the user doesn't interact here, if they just keep scrolling past, they're not going to get the same social proof kind of impact. You're loading less JavaScript on the page. Or like there's a lot of benefits that we could take a look at. All right, so we have I also don't know okay, that does make sense now. All right, never mind. We'll keep going. Free app, learn pro moves with NBA skills coach Johnny Steffin, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know who all the NBA skills coaches are. I really like this dual device format here. This is a good, it's, really good positioning. I like the background. Those are basketball courts. Okay. If you don't know, those are best. See, I'm not a moron. These are basketball courts. And then, it's just all very cohesive. It's nice. The one thing I will say about this section that I think brings it down a notch is the generic star icons here. If it were me, I would try to, you've done so well. Like you've got even the ball has the branding in it. It's like, but then we go to a generic font awesome star icon. That just feels like it's a little chintzy. All right. So if we could kick this up a notch, I think that this would be a little bit better. I'm curious to look at all of this on mobile as well. We'll take a look at all this on mobile and see how everything is stacking up. Okay, what about this section? So immediately, my first impression on this section here is we're a little off balance here. It almost feels like something's wrong because we have a smaller image here that's just kind of floating off to the side. It feels like this image was supposed to be bigger, doesn't it? So let's see what our little structure is here. Okay, so we're using like I don't know how many columns that is, but that's a lot of columns. And then you're spanning. You got this over to the right. You got this over to the left. This is going from grid column 1 to 4. So it's very easy with grid to you could make this a little bit more striking. I don't know. That almost even, doesn't that just feel better? It's like, let's just take up some of that space. Let me refresh. Doesn't that just feel off to you? I feel a little broken. Oh, here's where I would have to ask Tyree. Like, is this a design decision or is this something that's broken? I don't know. Okay, let's look at what our selling points here is on the app. So we got a free 30-day trial. Learn how to use the Handle Life Heavy Ball with a 30-day free trial when you purchase the ball. Fresh drills. Well, first of all, let me also say this. The spacing is off in these cards. So you need a little bit. Oh, gosh. What are we? Content wrapper. Okay. Here's the UL. I like to see these in an unordered list. That's good. You've got padding in your unordered list, which is good. And then I'm looking at your LIs. These are your cards. This is all good. And then in your card, you're going to have a div for your content. Why? Oh, I see what you did. Okay. So you were trying to align that with the center of the icon, which to me, that almost feels like it's a little bit off. I kind of like it like that because there's so much content. Like I understand you want center alignment with the icon if it was just the headings. But because it's got all the other text, it just feels like this is actually a little bit more cohesive. Because what this is doing is creating it's a little semblance of being off balance with the top white space. I kind of like it like that. And then what you would want to do is gap the content here. We'll just use something like 0.5. Okay, now that feels off. Now if you just added your top padding back in, now you kind of get to something a little bit cleaner. But what I was seeing before is that you're not, like, this is too squished. These two things are right on top of each other. I think a little gap there would help out. So something like that. And I don't know, a designer have to, I think this is all going to be better, by the way, if we have better icons. The chintziness of these icons is just not helping this section out whatsoever. But anyway, back to copy. Fresh drills, new training drills, and mindset videos added weekly. Here's one thing I talk about all the time, too, that's throwing this off. The amount of content in this feature versus the amount of content in these other two features. So if we took a look at shortening the content, I'm not going to figure out what to say instead, but I will show you visually what it looks like to more balance, right? And if we came over here and we just added some nonsense, okay? Let me get in here with some more nonsense, with some... See my dyslexia right there? I was like, with some more nonsense, but my brain wrote more some. It's fun. It's fun. With some more nonsense. There you go. So, and obviously, we don't want, see, now the OCD is kicking in, and non-breaking space. Okay. Oh, it's not actually going to parse it. But anyway, you can link those two words together so that, oh no, hold on, guys. Hold on. All right, we may be doing Q&A for a minute. The fantastic Apple mouse has died. And, I would say, hey, it's no problem because I've got a charger cord right here. But the geniuses at Apple, we all know how good they are at product design. The geniuses at Apple, put the port on the bottom. So we won't be doing any other mousing for a moment or two. Now, the good news is it does charge quite quickly. It's going to get us another, 5 minutes. We'll have another probably hour. But I'm just going to set that off to the side. Let's go ahead and let's move into the Q&A portion of this segment. And if you have any comments that you want to put on what we've talked about so far on this design, you can absolutely do that too. I don't see Tyree in the chat, which is unfortunate. I'm sure he'll watch the stream later, but it would have been good to hear from Tyree on this. But go ahead and drop in the chat any questions that you have now. And any comments that you want to put on the site that is up on the screen as well. And any questions related to things that don't require a mouse would be even more fantastic. Give me 5 minutes on this and we'll get things going. Okay, Apple designers were using Elementor by that time. Most likely. I do have a second mouse on the way. My daughter took it though. I have a third mouse on the way. My daughter took my second mouse to use for her laptop, and she's on a trip. She ain't here. Okay, so that's a problem. Let's start a GoFundMe to get this man a wired mouse. No, that's the problem is I like the Apple mouse so much. I like everything about it. And I do have another mouse in the drawer. It doesn't have battery. I don't know. That's going to take longer to solve that situation than just plugging this in for 5 minutes. So, okay. So Nell Media has a question. Dave Foy, shout out to Dave Foy. Dave Foy mentions that it's better to set the font size, the root font size at 100%, specifically because of other plugins that might rely on that. Your thoughts? What would the impact be on other plugins? Okay. It's a common question, and this is a good question. And I do want to show something that requires the mouse with this regard, but I'm going to do my best to do it without the mouse, and then we'll show, you can remind me in a minute when our mouse is back and functional again to show you this, because this actually involves a sneak peek of a feature coming in ACSS 2.6, which we are less than a week away from. August 1st will be the drop of ACSS 2.6. If nothing major comes up, ACSS 2.6 will be released on August 1st. Big update. It's a big update, and there's a lot of fun stuff in it. A lot of fun stuff. And I'll give you a sneak peek of one of those things in just a minute. The root font size thing. So I will say this, 62.5% is what I have used for a very long time now. And there's a lot of people who use 100%. You can't go wrong with 100%. So if you want to choose 100%, you can't go wrong with 100%. Your life will be more difficult when you need to use RIM units, especially if you're not using whole units, okay? And if you're referencing pixels. I actually had a fun little debate with Adam Lowe the other day. We actually need to have this debate, I think, live. It would be good to have this debate live. It was about getting away from pixels altogether. The argument from Adam Lowe's side was, and I'm going to do my best to represent his argument as accurately as I possibly can. His argument was we need to get away from pixels altogether and just think RIM units. And I was like, well, the problem with that is that the R in RIM stands for relative. And we know these are relative units, right? All of these, you have static units, that's pixels. Then you have your relative units. VH, VW, RIM, M, these are all relative to something else. And so he said, his argument was, we don't need pixel units. Everything is relative to another thing. Like 4 RIM is relative to 2 RIM. 4 is bigger than 2. You just need to know that they're relative, and we can just only work with relative units. And in my mind, I was like, but it's relative to something. What is it relative to? You can't escape that. You can't escape the fact that it's relative to something. And we need to know what that something is. And I'm going to do my best to remember all of the argument, because this is kind of an inception level concept when you get down into the details of it. But for example, first of all, another big problem is Figma. Somebody does a design in Figma. Figma doesn't have IMs. Okay, it doesn't have rims. I think it maybe they're introducing it, but people are primarily using pixels in designs in Figma, right? And so you're using that as a reference. But even if you don't use that as a reference, the browser itself has a 16 pixel reference. 16 pixel is the reference point for browsers by default. And so if you set the root font size to 100%, which is relative, it's 100% relative to the 16. Okay, and if you set 62.5%, that's relative to the 16. It's still relative to something. My argument was, because he was basically saying, no, we need to get rid of all, like that thing that it's relative to, we can get rid of that, which doesn't make sense in my mind, which is why I'm having a hard time even explaining his argument, okay? And I just used I used pizza as an example, because I think he actually brought up pizza. I don't know who brought up pizza. It got into pizza again. Once again, pizza came up. Okay, so my argument was, you have to know, it would be like saying, well, no, they could just sell pizzas and say, well, a medium is 8 slices and a large is 12 slices. And it's like, that still doesn't answer the question of how much pizza I'm getting. If it's not relative to a size that I can actually understand, like the medium is 8 inches and the large is 12 inches, now I know I'm getting more pizza. If you just tell me how many slices it is, I don't know. What is it relative to? You could take a pizza this size and make 12 slices out of it. That doesn't help me understand how much pizza I'm getting. That was my argument, right? We still have to know what it's relative to. And he seemed to believe that it doesn't matter what it's relative to. We'll still all get along. And that just doesn't make sense to my brain. You guys can weigh in on this if you want to. But back to 100% versus 62.5%. So for a very long time, I've used 62.5% because when you use 62.5%, it makes rim calculations very easy. If you want to reference, for example, 60 pixels, I know that's 6 rim because 62.5 happens to make it divided by 10. So you take the number in pixels that you're referencing, you divide it by 10, and you know exactly what you're getting in terms of rims. If you don't set it, if you leave it at 100%, you got to divide by 16. Not the craziest thing ever, but a little bit harder for us math challenged individuals. And I will say most of you can't do the math if you're dealing with decimals and such, like 62 divided by 16, 62.5 divided by 16. Now you're getting into territory where you're probably having to break out a calculator. When it gets into workflow, this is a huge workflow challenge and hurdle. Because it's like, all right, I'm just trying to design a website. Every time I got to pull up a calculator and figure this out, it's an obstacle to my workflow. If you build at 62.5%, you don't have that obstacle. Now, what is the downside to 62.5%? Because I'm not going to sit up here and tell you there are no downsides to 62.5%. What I will say is I have reviewed argument thread after argument thread on Twitter and Reddit and these other places where people argue 62.5 versus 100%. I've read all the arguments. 90% of the arguments against 62.5 are false arguments. They're just wrong. They're just false, okay? Because people don't understand. Like, they'll be like, if you set it at 62.5, it won't be accessible. Wrong. Absolutely 100% provably false. That's wrong. 80 to 90% of the arguments against 62.5 are wrong and false. The argument that Dave Foy appears to be making when he says that this could cause issues with other plugins, that is the one argument against 62.5% that is true. That is a correct argument. That is the downside of using 62.5%. So if I have a plugin and they're using rim units and I install that plugin, all those sizes are going to be smaller on my website. Now, the question is, how often does that happen? And the answer is almost never. So yes, it is a downside, but from a practicality standpoint, it almost never happens. Now, why does it almost never happen? Well, in my estimation, most of the plugins use pixels, which they shouldn't be doing, right, by default. But my argument is I'm overriding what they're doing anyway, because I'm going to closely manage the styles that are on my website. And so I'm going to switch all that stuff over to rims anyway. According to my root font size, it's all going to be fine. So it's either a non-issue or it's easily overridable. But it is a downside. In some rare cases, you might run into problems. I almost never run into problems. So that's all I have to say. Now, the other thing I have to say is, if there was a way to get around the math calculation issue, you should use 100%. I wouldn't use 100% if there wasn't an easy way around it, because it's too much of a hassle for me. That brings me to ACSS 2.6 and a feature that I can sneak peek for you in just a minute. I'm just going to give this mouse a little bit extra time to charge up here. If I show you the sneak peek, you'll understand, oh, suddenly the math calculation challenge is gone. And when the math calculation challenge is gone, we can go back to using 100% root font size. And then there's absolutely no downsides. And Dave Foy is a user of automatic CSS. So, Dave will really like this feature, I believe. And, in automatic CSS, I should mention, you can use whatever root font size you want. There's one little setting input in the dashboard. You can easily change the root font size to whatever you want. So it's not like automatic CSS forces you to use 62.5%. You can use whatever you want. You can use 83% because that's, the year I was born. Maybe that's what you like. It's fine with me, right? You can use anything. So it's up to you. Hopefully that answers your question. Yes, 100% is the best option. However, if you want max compatibility, it presents the math challenge. But if you have a workaround for the math challenge, then use 100%. Okay, Jake says you have to have a unit. I like that, and I won't just get along. Haha. 100%. 100%. It did not make sense to my brain. It's like relative units. We can use relative units without knowing what the thing is relative to. Does not compute. Does not compute. Okay. Any other questions? I don't even know if I can scroll in here with the keyboard. Let me click on this real quick. Let me click on the chat window. Let's go back to the mouse. Is my mouse even working? Oh, I turned it off. Okay. Turning it back on would help. Let's just hope it connects. There it goes. It connected. Okay. All right. So let me see if I can scroll. Nope. No keyboard. Oh yeah. I do have keyboard scroll. Oh, no, I don't have. Never mind. I don't have keyboard scroll. Okay. Let's see what the mouse level is at now. I'm going to go up here to my toolbar, which you guys, I don't even think can see. Let's go to Bluetooth. Magic keyboard. All right. We got to 6%. We got to 6% charge. All right. I think 6% is about 30 minutes. All right. So let's go with, I don't want to zoom in on that. Let's do the little sneak peek here. Let's pull that up. Let's have some fun. Then we're going to finish off this homepage over here that everybody's looking at. So I'm going to do Bricks ACSS new. All right. So here's a little dev site we can get into here. I'll just give just a little sneak peek, just the tip, as they say. Okay. So we're going to grab this heading right here. Let's say that I wanted to, can you guys see this? Is everybody good? Maybe I should change see, now people are going to be like, change your screen resolution. Okay, hang on. Display settings. There we go. All right. Are we good? I think we're good. All right. So we go into this heading right here. Now, you wouldn't want to do this because if I want this heading to be smaller, I've got my H2 variable that I can use. I've got my H3. I've got my H4. I can do whatever I want here, right? I can do calcs up in here. I don't even have to write the word calc. I can just say H1 times 1.2, and I'm going to get a 20% larger heading. And the benefit of using these variables and all of this is that it's automatically responsive, right? There's clamp functions behind here. So you wouldn't want to do this, but just an example of the feature working. keep in mind this feature is going to work in all of these inputs. So there are many, many, many times where you would want to reference a pure rim value. So listen, I don't have to care what my root font size is, by the way, because this feature already knows what your root font size is, and it's going to do this calculation based on your root font size. But what I will say is you want to choose your root font size before you build your site. Don't build your site and then just start playing around with root font sizes. That ain't how this works, okay? You want to pick one and stick to it, and that's your thing going forward. But let's say you're on a brand new install and you've used 62.5 for a while now, and you're like, I want to go to 100%, but I don't want to deal with the math. So you set your root font size to 100%. In fact, let's go back here in WordPress and do this, okay? So we're going to go to automatic CSS. We're going to go to typography, and here's the setting right here. See how easy this is? You go from 62.5 to 100%. All right, now I'm going to go back here in the builder. Let me make sure that's saved. It did. I'm going to reload. And then we're just going to see. Now, keep in mind, this is an alpha, and this is a live stream. And when you combine alphas and live streams, you never know. You never know what you're going to get. So we're going to go into typography right here, and we are going to write the reference for what we want in pixels. Let's say we want this heading to be 60 pixels. So I'm going to write 60, and then I'm going to write CTR, and I'm going to hit enter, and you see what happens. It just does the math. And that's much quicker, right? Even for you mathematicians, I think that's much quicker than what you could have done in your head. And so you see immediately I get the exact rim that I wanted. And so what does this do? It says, hey, I want 60, the equivalent of 60 pixels. And then CTR stands for convert to rim. Convert this to rim. So, and then I hit enter and it converts it to rim. And now you might be wondering, well, Kevin, can you do that down here? Because a lot of the rims that I use maybe is when I'm writing custom CSS. Okay. And I don't even know. There you go. Okay. So you can do this in the CSS box. You can do this in your input fields. You can do this in a lot of places, right? And now there is no, see, we've overcome the math thing. And so you can go to 100% now and not even have to worry about anything, right? You got max compatibility. You've got math being done for you. It's fun, right? It's fun. I think it's fun. So yeah. Okay. So that's a little sneak peek. Nicholas says, you mean I've been doing endless calculations for nothing? Well, no, Nicholas, you've been doing calculations for a good reason, because this feature is not available yet. This will be available in 2.6 on August 1st. And this is just one of many, many fun things coming to automatic CSS in 2.6. Okay. Oh, man, I could just go into Gutenberg right now and just show the Gutenberg sauce that is coming in 2.6. All right. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to make you guys continue to wait. Okay. What we need to do here, we can close this. Okay. I want to have enough mouse for, we're going to switch things up because I want to have enough mouse battery for the Cwicly components first look. So what I'm going to do is we're going to quickly finish this page. I'm going to plug the mouse back in, and we're going to do Q&A while the mouse continues to juice itself up. And then we'll do the Cwicly components immediately following some Q&A. All right, so we talked about this section. I like this section right here. This is just another call out. This is the coach. All right, this is good. Ready to transform your game. I had a couple things that I wanted to say, especially about the navigation going on up here before I let this go, because I want to give Tyree the rest of the value that he came for. First of all, when you have 3 product options like this, youth ball, men's ball, women's ball, I love the fact that our measurements are here. Hey guys, hey, Adam, perfect example, right? Oh, we don't need any reference, right? Oh, they just know that this ball is bigger than that ball is bigger than that ball, don't they? I guess that's the argument, right? We don't need to tell them the size in inches. They can just see one ball is bigger than the other. Again, I think it's important to have some sort of static reference that the brain can wrap itself around. See, I mean, this is case closed in my estimation. Even see size 7, size 6, I mean, that's relative. 6 relative to 7, smaller. Without the inches, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. So case closed. Case closed. All right. But I love this. I love that they're like, all right, we got 3 options. They could have just made cards, boring little cards, option 1, option 2, option 3, product 1, product 2, product 3. Look at the presentation that's been created here. Now I got to click buy ball. Okay, hold on. Let's check this out. 1. Is this SureCart? I wonder if this is SureCart. It's not deleting, by the way. You might want to take a look at that. It's not, if I minus that, it's not removing it. So I can uncheck it, but then it leaves it there. So I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, you're going to have to definitely take a look. This is the most important part of the website. This is the point where they're like trying to buy the thing. We need to make sure that this is dialed in. You definitely take a look here at what's going on. Oh gosh, there's 2 of them. Well, that's even more fun. There's a card up here and there's a card down here. Definitely take a look at this page. I'm not sure what's going on here. I love this card over here. I love this card right here. I love the checkout page in general. However, this is kind of throwing me off. Let's go into here, annotate screen. Okay, you've got like a collision here, a collision here, and a collision down here. It's just a little throwing my brain off. You got a collision with your text right here. It's a little like, it's abstract-y feeling. It's kind of all over the place. Yeah, it's just creating a lot of, I don't know, my eyes having a hard time focusing. And this is not the time to make focus issues for the user. Like they're about to give you the money. The wallet is out there. We don't need to be creating a bunch of confusion right here. So I would say to clean this up a little bit, just make it simpler. There doesn't have to be so much stuff going on here. We got a background color over here that's different from over here. We just got a lot of stuff going on this, and it doesn't need to happen. It doesn't need to happen. It's only potentially causing problems. Okay, let's go back. So we got definitely some stuff to figure out there. What I was looking at is how do I choose which ball I want? So there's the men's and there's the women's. I never really said to add them to my cart. I just said I wanted to buy them. What I would do is like, imagine here, we hover over, the ball gets bigger as you hover over each one. Wouldn't that be cool? And then I can click on it. And the ball that I click on, as they get bigger when they hover, the ball that I click on gets added to the cart. That would be maybe what I would expect to see here. And if you want to liven this up a little bit, that's what I would recommend doing. And then fix your cart issues. Okay, we need to because I saw something earlier that we need to take a look at in the navigation. Watch this. I'm going to click on heavy ball. To me, in my mind, this would take me to a page that explains more about the heavy ball, maybe shows somebody using it. That's another thing, right? We have no video of somebody using this product. That is a killer on a product like this. This product has got to have video showing the thing in action. Mandatory. I don't care what Bev says. Got to have a video. Okay, so get a video going. And I would expect to see more information if I click this link. But what happens when I click the link is I'm actually taken to the checkout. And this is actually a bad user experience. It's like, hey, I wasn't ready to buy yet. Okay, why are you taking me here? I thought you were just going to tell me more about the product. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for some more information about the product. You trying to mac on me too early, right? Like, we don't want to do all that. This is the first link in the navigation is like, no, buy it. And you didn't even tell me that was going to happen. I would switch this up. This does not need to take the person to the checkout. And if you want a thing up here that says checkout or buy or whatever, I'm all for that. But make it explicit that that's what's going to happen. This is like a little, you're tricking me here. All right. Now I click on training. And I don't know if you guys noticed, this took me to a different website in the same tab. HandleLife.com, HandleLifeApp.com. Most people are not going to know that they just left the original site and that they're on a completely new site. So if you want, first, really 2 things here. If you want to open this if this is going to take someone to a new site, make it open in a new tab. That's number 1. But my question would be like, why is this a different site? Why is this a different site? It should be handlelife.com/app. Why is it handlelifeapp.com? Why do we need a whole new domain for that? I just feel like you're breaking the experience now. You're taking me from one thing to another when that doesn't really need to happen. So I would just rethink that strategy overall, but definitely taking me to a new site in the same tab, that's a no-no.
Where's my?
That's the wrong one.
Oh, no.
There we go.
No, 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 no.
That's one of those. That's one of those. Okay. Apparel takes me to yet another, this is a subdomain, so yet another website, shop.handlelife.com. Maybe is this a Shopify thing? Yep. Guessed. Okay, so that's Shopify. So we got 3 sites going on now. 3 different, let's calculate this. I got 3 links in the navigation that took me to 3 different websites. So yeah, that's a little bit. And then this one just takes me to my email. So every link up here takes me off this website. Every single navigation link I'm gone. I'm somewhere else. Okay. I'm not gonna think that that's the best strategy for max conversions. Let's just do that right now. What I would like to see up here instead is, if this is a one-page website, these need to be anchor links to, like, what do the professionals say? The app, right? The app, scroll me down to here. What is, like, I don't need that whole other domain. Dog, I can get the app from right here. Why are you taking me other places? Okay. This could just be a one-page website. Yeah, that's it. That's my final thought. This nav needs to be rethought out here. The whole multi-domain strategy, I would want to, sort that out. Everything else is the way that we've talked about it. I don't think we have to. Well, let's go look at the app one more time. We didn't really look at this landing page. I just want to see. This is the funnel, basically. This is a good entrance to their. Oh.
Oh, no. No.
Okay.
No.
Something has gone awry here. You want to check on this section. This section is man down right here in this section. Here's what we were talking about earlier. That, my friends, can I zoom in? Does this work? Is this working on the? You guys hit me up in the chat. Does this work when I zoom in? Can you see me zooming? Because I did this once on screen capture, and it did not record what I was doing. Is this zooming, guys? Just let me know in the chat. But anyway, if you guys can see that shadow right there, that is not a good shadow. Oh yeah, no zoom. Okay, well the zoom's not working. That's not a good shadow on the feet right here. And if that was coming in your hero section, that's not going to work. You definitely want to hide the feet in that regard. Okay. I just want to look at this because it's the entrance to the funnel. Train free for. Oh gosh, yet another tab. You're killing me with the tabs. All right, I go here. What is this taking me to? Select plan. All right, hold on. Train free for 7 days. Okay. Is this powered by Playbook? This is yet another service. You got services coming out of everywhere. All right, so I can choose my 2 options here. Join the app, whatever. So I'm guessing that this app is like required to use the product. See, I don't have a video because I don't really know. If a video would be really, really helpful here. And I didn't read all your copy, but okay. You've got enough value out of this, I think. Let's close this up. We can go back to camera, and I'm just going to keep an eye on the chat. I am going to plug this mouse in so that we have enough to do our Cwicly, and I'm going to open up Q&A again. So bring on the questions while this mouse. I can't scroll back up now. So you got to put your questions in now. Even if you asked the question earlier, put the question in now. Question in all caps. As soon as this mouse has a little bit more charge in it, we're going into Cwicly. We're going to take a look at Cwicly components. But we're going to take a little pause break for Q&A. Use Zoom and accessibility in macOS, and it should show in the video recording software. That's exactly what I was just doing. and it does not work. It did. I recorded a whole video, dude. It was like a 45-minute video where I thought I was zooming in live with the accessibility feature in Mac. None of that was on the recording. None of the zooms got recorded. Okay, questions are strolling in now. ACSS WP theme. Would you consider creating an ACSS compatible block-based FSE style WP? Man, that is such a mouthful. For use without a builder, but with GenerateBlocks. D123. I can do you so much better, my friend. So our vision for Gutenberg is for the people who want to use Gutenberg. Okay, we're not going to force you into doing this. We're still going to, ACSS is still going to work in Bricks and Oxygen and Cwicly and everywhere else, okay? But for the people who are like, I don't really want a builder layer. I really like the GenerateBlocks experience. My vision as it stands right now is that automatic CSS or frames, I don't know which brand it's going to be under, is going to have an FSE theme. And it's going to have, it'll probably be ACSS, honestly. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. It'll have an FSE theme, and it will have native blocks, and it will have native patterns. Those will definitely be from frames. If you don't know what patterns are like, pre-designed, whatever. Basically imagine frames as it exists in Bricks in the patterns library in the FSE. That's what would happen. So you could technically build sites once this vision is executed on fully. You could technically build complete sites with automatic CSS and frames and no builder. I think that would be pretty interesting, pretty fun. Okay, not to say that I think that's the best experience, but it's a massive market, and we've got to serve the massive side of, it's native to WordPress. You can't get around the fact that this is the direction WordPress chose to go. This is the native experience. And so we either got to get on board or not get on board. Okay. Are you happy about the new addition to Cwicly inner sections? Yes. Ecstatic. I'm ecstatic about it. I will tell you this right now. Cwicly is Cwicly. It is, Bricks and Oxygen should be on notice. Just be on notice right now. There's competition in the waters, and it's getting more promising by day. And if these builders don't wake up to the fact, like I was talking about at the very beginning of this stream, it's a little disappointing that we haven't heard a peep out of Bricks with regard to global components or dynamic components, excuse me. And it's a little bit disappointing that on the Oxygen side of things, there's been pushback on why they don't think that dynamic components are the way to go. Well, I'll tell you right there, features like that are what can cause one page builder to leapfrog another page builder. If you have so many things that just start to come together, you have Cwicly fixing their section element. So now you have an accessible inner container. Well, guess what? Now, see, that's one thing Bricks had over Oxygen. And people may think that's a little thing. It is not a little thing. That is a major flaw in Oxygen. And Bricks doesn't have that flaw. Bricks has an accessible inner container element on every section. Cwicly had the same flaw that Oxygen had. So if I was making the decision, well, would I move from Bricks to Cwicly? Well, not with that glaring problem. Cwicly was like, well, we'll just fix that problem. And they did. And so now that problem doesn't exist, and they have global component or dynamic components now. With Bricks and Oxygen seemingly, nowhere to be found in the dynamic components discussion. These things start to add up. They start to come together where it's like, I got to start taking a closer look. Now, with that said, Cwicly is handicapped by the Gutenberg environment. The question is, can we look past that? How easy is it to look past some of the handicapping? I will say they're far less handicapped than something like GenerateBlocks, because they've created their own environment within Gutenberg. For example, they have their own structure panel. That's major, because the Gutenberg structure panel is atrocious. Like make that as many syllables as you can. It is absolutely atrocious. Cwicly has fixed that by creating their own structure panel. So not all of the limitations are there for Cwicly, but there are still some things. There are still some things that is like, about the Gutenberg environment that Cwicly does suffer from. Okay. Would you consider making a pro-only branch off of a bricks-like builder was designed for those that do know CSS and web design standards? I thought about that. I thought about like you could fork a builder and then just take it to where, and here's the thing. My philosophy on builders is you can have a 100% builder tailored to professionals that beginners can also have a great experience in. If the beginners are they just make a simple decision like, I actually want to know what I'm doing. And then you provide the necessary education, everybody can be happy. I did an interview. I'm just going to tell you, if I have to listen to it again. I did an interview on a channel the other day. It should come out this week or next week. I don't know. They haven't posted it yet. I haven't heard anything about it yet. So I'm not even I won't even say the channel until it's actually live because I don't want to make any promises. I don't know. I'd have to go back and listen to it. I felt at the end of the interview like, I could have done better. That wasn't my best interview. And it actually, to me, it felt like it went off the rails a little bit toward the end. Not the fault of the host or anything, the fault of the topic, which we got into talking about Gutenberg and beginners and vision and all this other stuff. And it's very hard to talk about Gutenberg because I believe the vision is completely wrong. Well, I don't even think there is a vision, honestly. What we got into, to bring a little clarity to the discussion, is the leadership and the vision and the problem with it. And the problem with it is a problem that any product would have. They want Gutenberg to be usable by literally everyone. Guys, I can't pull it up because my mouse is charging right now, but I could go to the WordPress website and it literally says on there somewhere, it's like, for everyone. Well, I'll just cut to the chase. If you make a product for everyone, you're making a product for no one. Nobody is going to have a great experience. Everybody can use the product, but nobody's going to have a great experience in the product because you can't take these people with wildly different needs and desires and then create something that speaks to everybody. What you end up with is Gutenberg. You end up with what they have. This is the result of a faulty vision. So people ask me, why is Gutenberg the way that it is? Because it has no vision. It wants to be everything to everybody. And that is the number one recipe for creating a failed product. The number one recipe. I don't know why they don't know that. I don't know why they can't accept that, whatever. But that's the fact of life. It is, if you try to make something for everybody, you're making it for nobody. And so they can't escape that. Until Gutenberg changes its vision, it will never really be all that much better. So I was trying to explain this and it was just, I wasn't doing a great job explaining it. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like interviews sucked and then everybody's like, that was the best interview I've ever heard. I don't know. I'm my own harshest critic, whatever. So I got to go back and listen to it, but that's kind of the gist of the conversation. And so the question for me was about a page builder. Would I fork one? And what would my vision be? Well, I happen to think the vision should be, and if we're talking WordPress again, I made the distinction, and maybe I don't know enough about WordPress core. When WordPress.com came out, you guys know about WordPress.com, right? I don't know enough about WordPress.com. Why? Because I looked one look at it, and I was like, that's not for me. And I stopped paying attention to it. I just stopped paying attention to it. This person that was interviewing me seems to think that WordPress.com was like WordPress's entrance into the managed hosting space. I thought it was more than that. I thought, and I think it can be more than that and should be more than that. Guys, if you like the simplified, dumbed down, easy to use, Wix-like strategy of Gutenberg, if you like that, to me, this was the best question he asked me on the interview. If you were like the leader of WordPress, what would you have done? Knowing that you want to capture Wix's audience and Squarespace's audience and all of that, to me, it is crystal freaking clear. You have WordPress.com, you have WordPress.org. If you want a Wix-like Squarespace, dumbed down, whatever experience, put it in WordPress.com. WordPress.org is already a self-hosted, more technical experience. Make WordPress.org friendly to professionals and make WordPress.com where people go if they don't want the technical shit. They just want the Squarespace, Wix-like kind of thing. Build your website in Microsoft Word kind of thing. Fine, do that on WordPress.com. Leave WordPress.org to the professional side of things. Or just decide, no, we're going to build a professional tool and then we're going to teach beginners how to use it. This was the Webflow strategy, and it worked. You can't argue that that doesn't work. It clearly works. Webflow said we're going to build a professional tool, then we're going to teach beginners how to use it. And it worked. Okay? So that would be my vision. My vision would be, we're not going to fork, first of all, we're not going to fork a builder that currently exists, because I would reimagine how a workflow happens. I think all the builders right now are based on the first page builder. So the first page builder concept that came out, all of the builders that have come after that are based on that idea. And I think that it can be completely reworked. It can be completely redone, and the workflow can be made faster, and the experience can be better. So I would start from scratch. If I was building a professional builder, I would start from scratch, and it would be a completely new vision for how the workflow is going to work. And I can't give more details on that because I still don't know if we're going to execute on this, but it would be completely, it would not be a fork of an existing builder. But back to the vision. I think you can build a professional builder and then teach beginners how to use it. And I think beginners will want to learn how to use it. And there's going to be some people who are like, no, I don't want to learn web design. I just want to build my grandmother's Bunko Club website. Fine. Go use Squarespace. Go use Wix. Companies have to be okay with saying you are not for us. Every great company says that at some point to some capacity. And the newer you are and the smaller you are, the more you have to be adamant about saying that. Because the minute you're like, oh, we'll try to make this person happy, and we'll try to make that person happy, and we'll try to make everybody happy, the product goes to absolute shit really, really, really fast. So I would say we build a professional builder. We teach beginners how to use it. If beginners don't want to learn web design, then they're not for us. We're for people who want to be web designers, right? That's who this tool is for. It's not for everybody, for people that want to be web designers. Does it mean it's not friendly to beginners? No, it's as friendly as it can possibly be to beginners. Does that mean it's dumbed down to be friendlier to them? No. Does that mean we cut corners to be friendlier to them? No. But we can find ways to be friendly to beginners, and we can provide as much education as possible so that we are friendly to beginners. Not only are we friendly to beginners, we empower beginners. Not only are we friendly to beginners, we actually take the beginner from beginner to a different place, which you cannot do, by the way, by learning Squarespace or learning Wix. The only thing you can do is be a better Wix user or be a better Squarespace user. You're not going to be a better web designer, like technically speaking, okay? So yeah, I think it's a vision. WordPress has a vision problem, and a lot of these tools have vision problems. And they have an inability to say, we're not for you. And that is a critical thing. If you're a product developer, you have to be able to say, I'm sorry, we're not for you. This is who we're for. And we're for them 100%. Okay. Do we have enough charge? Let's see where we're at. All right, I'm going up into Bluetooth and Magic. 30%, we're done. We've got plenty of charge for the rest of the day. Okay, so we are going to screen share again. And we are going to get into Cwicly here. And we're going to see this firsthand right now. What do I mean when I say that this is an important feature set? All right, I need to get a Cwicly install going. I've got one of those handy. Okay. Can you guys see? Is my screen resolution still good? Yes, it is. Okay, main display, extended display. Oh gosh. We just went crazy. All right, go back to the main display. Hitting the wrong buttons. Here we go. It's that one that I want to change. See, now I don't even know if I was looking at the correct. Yeah, I don't know what was going on. That looks much better though. That looks bigger, easier to see. Okay, we're now set up for success. Let's go into pages. Let's go into home. This is a live first look. This is not a tutorial. This is a let's figure this out together. Let's take a look at this together. Let's talk about it together. That's all we're doing here, okay? This is Cwicly. This is the interface. So you've got this stuff going on. If this is your first time looking at Cwicly, you've got stuff going on over here. You've got the structure panel over here. You've got the main canvas in the middle. Okay, here's one of the things that Cwicly suffers from because of Gutenberg. And again, Gutenberg. See, the Gutenberg team seems to think, oh, you only need 3 breakpoints. That's all anybody needs. I mean, who needs more than 3 breakpoints? So this is a major limitation of working in the Gutenberg environment. I don't even know if Cwicly can get around this, honestly. I think if they could, they would have. Yeah, I don't know. But that's neither here nor there. So let's add a section to a page. We can also see, by the way, Cwicly, full ACSS Cwicly support is coming in 2.7. So 2.6 is GeneratePress, GenerateBlocks. 2.7 will be Cwicly. Now, as you're going to see right here, a lot of stuff already works. A lot of stuff already works out of the box. We're just not claiming full support because we haven't gone in and tested every single component. We haven't done our overrides that are normally, a needed thing on every single builder. I'll just take this moment to reiterate. A lot of frameworks are going to say, yes, we integrate with Cwicly. Yes, we integrate with Zion. Yes, they don't. They really don't. They don't. They integrate like 90%, maybe 95%. And the last 5% causes tremendous amounts of headaches for the user. And you just got to decide if you want to deal with those headaches or not. Automatic CSS, we said, no, the user shouldn't have headaches regardless of the builder. So we're slow to adopt to a new builder because we have to go in and do a bunch of extra work to make sure that we get rid of all the headaches that the users are going to run into. That's the extra legwork that we do. It's just not being done really by anybody else. Okay, so we're going to add a section element. Now, I believe that this is not, so this is the beta with components. This doesn't have the nested section element that's in their other version. So you're not going to see the proper section element here, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. I'm going to add a div. Okay, and we are going to grab that div. First of all, yeah, I don't even know. Oh, it didn't put the div in the section. Okay. This is going to be a little interesting, a little weird here. Okay. Just a brand new environment that I'm not normally in. So we're going to try grid 3 here. We're going to try grid gap here. By the way, you can't, Cwicly cannot, its grid builder doesn't work on main containers. It only works on their special grid container, which I think they're fixing, but I don't know why they did that. Like in Bricks, you can put a grid on a section, you can put a grid on a container, you can put a grid on a block, you put a grid on a div, whatever you want a grid on, you can put a grid on. That's not how it works in Cwicly, which is a major limitation, which I think they're going to fix. Hopefully they fix. But what I was going to say is, well, with automatic CSS, it doesn't matter. ACSS, you can put a grid on anything you want at any time. So ACSS is an example of the framework overcoming a limitation of the builder. So I'm going to put a div in here, and you can see that it's 1/3 of our other div because it's in a 3-column grid. So that's fantastic. This is going to be our grid. This is going to be our card. And what do we want to build, guys? What kind of card do we want to build? Let's build a service card. So our service card should have an image. Our service card should have a heading. It should have text. It should have maybe a button. I don't know. So let's put some structure in our card. And this is what I always get confused on. Is this plus sign going to put something below this card or inside this card? Let's find out. So put it inside. Okay. So this is going to be our media wrapper. And then I am going to add another div in here. No, I don't want to add a paragraph. That's not what I want. What is it doing? All right. Oh, okay. So if you click it, it adds a paragraph. If you hover it, you get these options. Got it. All right. So I'm going to put another div in here. I did not want it in the media wrapper. This is classic Gutenberg. Gutenberg, to me, there's no rhyme or reason to like when Gutenberg put something in something, under something, next to something. It's just like, seems to be random. All right, this is going to be our content wrapper for our card. We're going to try to build this the right way. We're going to go nice and slow. We're just going to see how everything works. So we're going to call this service card. That's going to be my class service card. All right. This is going to be the service card media wrapper. All right. I actually want to copy this right here. All right. So we've got service card media wrapper. This will be service card content wrapper. Inside of our content wrapper, I absolutely hate, guys, look at the canvas right now. This is yet another. Now, Cwicly may be able to overcome this, and I will say that they should work on overcoming this. I've added many things to this page. I can't see a damn one of them. Nothing. It's a white page. I get it. They don't have any heights or widths, but in Oxygen's like, oh, okay, you add a div. We get that there's nothing in it, but we get you still want to be able to see it. So in the builder, there's a builder style that sets a minimum height and a minimum width. Therefore, you can see the element that you put on the page, even though it doesn't have anything in it. And it doesn't technically have any dimensions. See, that's the builder helping the user experience out. The idea that I just added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things to this page and don't see any of them, that's a user experience problem that needs to be overcome. Okay, so I'm going to hit the plus sign, and we're going to do a heading. All right, and we're going to do a paragraph, and we're going to do, that's all we'll add for now, because we need to save some things for after it's a component to see exactly how this component functionality really helps things. Is this my tag? That's going to go to an H3. Okay, so this is going to be called service card, and then we need to go to website Ipsum here. We need to grab some of this. Everything looks so much bigger. This is so odd. Okay, this resolution is not my normal resolution. So the service card content wrapper, I need to add a little bit of a row gap. We don't have variable expansion yet in Cwicly. So I'm just going to have to do this by writing the actual, whoa, what happened there? Oh, I know what happened. Let's take this out. That's so interesting. All right, Command Z, watch. I bet I can guess. I'm just going to guess what happened. Let's go to the front end. I'm guessing, here's my guess. We're going to take a look. That this is like display block. But when I put a value in the gap field, Cwicly was like, hey, that gap's not going to work on display blocks. So it set it to display flex for me, but it set it to just display flex, which by default is a row and not a column. And it screwed up the whole layout. Just setting the, see, that's a beginner would be totally lost right there. Like, what the hell just happened? I have a guess as to what happened. Let's go see if we can verify our guess. First of all, where is the content? All right. We're not off to a good start. Am I viewing the wrong thing? What sample? Okay. I'm in preview, which I know causes problems sometimes. I guess it's the preview. Yet another Gutenberg fantastic feature of like, let's give them a special preview link that never seems to preview the thing that they want to look at. Okay. So now let's inspect this card. I don't know why my fonts are different either. All right, let's bring this down. Here's my service card. There it is, display block. So what Cwicly was saying is, I'm going to grab this card right here. Hey, if you're from Cwicly and you're watching, Lewis, are you watching? If I put this as a row gap, let's do content gap and hit enter. Well, hold on. That time it didn't do it. Why did it do it before? Something switched my display. Oh, it's already set to display. I'm so confused now. All right. Now that flex is not chosen, let's see what happens if I put a gap in. No, it's still, I don't know what happened the first time, but it definitely switched me to, what is this? That's row. Why isn't it putting it in a row? And why isn't it giving me a... Dude, this is all screwed up. Card. Oh, content wrapper. That's why. Okay. So we're going to go back. We should be on this. Okay. Take that flex away. Take this away. I think I'm back to where we started. And I'm going to refresh the builder just to see. Okay. I'm just trying to verify if this is actually the experience or not. So we click in here. See, I clicked in here and thought I chose the content. No, we're not. Okay, now we're on the content wrapper. no flex set, no direction set. What happens when I put a content gap in? Var, see that? Ah, it's doing it. See it? Watch. See it? Okay, quickly, you've got to fix this. You can't be just switching this to flex row on people. They're going to have no idea what's going on. See, now if I hit this down arrow, now it's going to get me to what I actually expected to see. Okay, we're going to update there. That is a user experience issue. Let's go into inspect this. I want to see if it's adding any other craziness. Okay, we've got a div, we've got a div, we've got a P. All this appears to be good. Perfect. Okay, my content gap looks a little aggressive. So I'm going to go back in here, automatic CSS, and we're going to go to spacing. Oh gosh. Oh, other sneak peeks. Oh, don't look too close. Okay, let's go back. All right, now we have a better content gap. All right, so we've started our card. Let's go into our media wrapper. Now we're going to add an image. Oh, no, see, I hit the plus sign. Got to hover. Image. There we go. Okay, so our image is set where? Right here. Okay, and let's go to Unsplash. Grab something quickly from here. Don't really care what is this guy doing? All right, weirdo. Let's go choose a different one. Oh gosh. Unsplash kind of crazy with some of their images. Here, let's do this. We don't need any people in it. We're going to get canceled if we're not careful. All right, select this. All right, so there's service card. Now what I can do is on my service card, I want to set this to flex column because now I'm getting that. See, Bricks sets all these things to flex by default. They're all flex column by default. But in a builder that doesn't do flex call by default, you got to come in here and set it to flex call. Then you can start using your gaps properly. So it's just part of learning, right? Get a little content gap action in there. What else do we want to do? Let's add a background color to this. So let's style this up a little bit. Let's go backgrounds. Gosh, I don't have any of my colors in here. Okay, there's that. And then let's go into our content wrapper. We actually may not need the gap on our card. How do I get back to that? It's here, service card, get rid of the gap. Okay, here's another question. Am I editing the class now or not editing the class now? Which one is which? When it puts the class in here, is that when I'm editing the class? And when it says div whatever, I'm not editing the custom class. So this is actually on the wrong thing, and so is this, and so is this. I need to select service. This needs to be better. And I don't know what this white dot is. I don't know what that does. See, there's things that are unclear. So I'm going to click here. I'm guessing because that's now in the class box. How about make this like when it's not, okay, yeah, now it's got a border around it. All right, there's like very minute details of like what's happening on interaction here. It's not obvious enough. You got to make this more obvious as to what's going on. Okay, I'm going to go flex column here, and then I'm going to put I actually don't need the row gap here. On my content wrapper, I'm going to go into spacing, margin and padding. I've never been a fan of this little layout right here, just to let you know. Let's do something like space M. I like that it does all sides by default. That was kind of nice. Let's hit update and save and refresh. Okay, so we're getting places. Let's do a little bit of a border radius here on our card. And I'm just doing a little bit extra, because I want to use Cwicly a little bit more. I don't want to rush right to the thing. I don't like this either. Okay, so like in Bricks, let's pull up Bricks. I just want to give this as an example. Okay, pages, edit, I don't care which one. So I select an element like this, and I go to style, and it's like, bam, layout, typography, background, border. Like my brain immediately is like, I know exactly. If I've never used Bricks before, it's like, I know exactly where I should go. Because it's like speaking to me. It's using language, okay? When we try to condense the dashboard down into just icons, now I gotta hover, okay? That's annoying. It's annoying that I can't just at a glance know what's going on. Like, these dots, that doesn't say layout to my brain. I don't know what this is. How does this have to do with margin and pat? Like finding icons to communicate things is very, very difficult. And to me, it's just like, well, that's why you shouldn't use icons only. Like it should just be text that somebody can click on it. This was a reimagining of an experience that was not made better in my estimation. After I get it. Okay. After a while of using it, you're going to know, your brain's going to know, but you're requiring me to learn a builder instead of just being able to deploy my web design skills. Now I'm like, what does what? And what do I click on? And too many questions. Okay. I was going to round the borders. I was looking for borders. Okay. And then we're going to go with var radius m. See, I don't care about like what unit do I use. No, we just use a variable. Just use a variable. And you're going to notice that we don't have border radius on the top. That's because the image is overflowing the corners of the card. So we're going to have to figure out where our overflow property is. And that's anybody's guess. Like you look at a thing like this, like, oh, could be anywhere. Advanced. This is okay. Margin padding. Wouldn't expect it to be in there. Relative styling. Pseudo classes. Oh God. Then there's more tabs. Anybody's guess. All right. Does any Cwicly users know where overflow is found? There it is. Oh no, these overflow wrap. Let me go to the chat real quick. White dot shows hides the class name in the front end DOM. Hold on. What? White dot show hides the class name in the front end DOM. I don't know what that would mean. He said layout tab. Okay. Layout. Where? Finally. Okay. There we go. All right. We got rounded corners. Woo. Save. Up. Just close that. All right. File, reopen, close tab. Thank you. All right. So I think we've done enough. We've done enough here. All right. So what we want to do is we want to componentize this. We're going to call this service card. So we're going to create a component now. I'm going to right click this. I'm going to hit create component. And this is where the magic is going to start to happen, friends. Service card, create. Okay. And now you have this little components area where a service card lives. I like the fact that it screenshots it for you, kind of shows you a representation there. And so now imagine that I'm in here, and actually I'm wondering if you can do it from here. I guess you can't. What do these do? Link copied blocks, copy paste styles, add to design library. Nope. Okay, I'm just gonna go up here, and can you drag it in? No, you can't drag. All right, can I click it in? I can click it in, and I've added 2 more. Now, before I do that, I guess it doesn't matter what order we do it in, but I need to program the component. And I've been thinking of how do I teach this concept to people? What is the easiest way to teach this concept to people? And to kind of teach it to myself from my own brain, okay? So I'm gonna grab the service card, and you can see now that it's a component, which means you can't see anything inside it in the structure panel. Unless I hit modify, then I can see the structure panel again because I'm modifying the component. We have styles, we have properties. What we really are wanting to concern ourselves with right now is properties. And here's how I would explain properties to people who don't know what's going on right now. If you are familiar with a custom field, like advanced custom fields, MetaBox custom fields, what do we know about those? We can create a custom field and we can assign it to a post or to a page or to a custom post type. And then we can go to that post, we can go to that page, we can go to that custom post type, we can fill out that custom field, and we can publish the page, the entity, whatever you want to call it, right? And then in a query loop, we can use dynamic data to pull, say, hey, we're going to query all of our service cards. So imagine that this is a link to a service CPT, and you put custom fields on the service CPT itself. And you would have like the name of the service, which would get dynamically pulled in here. You would get maybe you have a lead paragraph or a description, service description, custom field on the custom post type. You would pull this in dynamically, okay? A lot of this is solved by custom fields, but there are various things that are not solved by custom fields that are solved by components. But you need to think about component properties as custom fields. They're just not assigned to a post or a page or a CPT. They're assigned internally to the component itself, and they follow the component wherever it may go. Where a custom field like ACF or MetaBox, they're assigned to a post or a page. They don't follow individual components all over the place. But a property follows the component anywhere the component happens to go. So it's a custom field that is mapped to the component itself, not to a post or page in the database, if that makes sense. And you tell me, does that make sense to you? Or do I need to find a different way to explain it? I can find a different way to explain it, okay? But I think that makes the most sense. So what we want to do when we create a component is create properties. You need properties to display the data of the component, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this component, service card. We're going to modify the component, and I'm going to create a property. I need an image property for this. It's just like when you're doing custom fields. I need a text component for this. I need a text component for this. So let's do the image first. I'm going to create an image, and this is going to say service card image. Okay? And I can choose whether it's simple, advanced. I don't even know what this means. Okay? I just know the concept of creating components. I don't know what controls this adds or doesn't add. We're just going to go with simple. The next thing I'm going to do is add another one. I'm going to add the text. And this text is going to say service card heading. Now, keep in mind, some of this data could get pulled from a custom field, but some of it may not get pulled from a custom field. So we can maybe look at some differences here in just a second. I can also set a default for what this property is going to populate into the component when no content is actually provided for the component. So I can say that this will be like a sample heading. And then I don't even know what the placeholder does, so I'm not even going to worry about it right now. I'm going to create another property. This is going to be another text property, and this is going to be service card description. And then the default can just be this. Okay, so you can have a little default action of website Ipsum, and that's it for now. Okay, so I've got 3 properties. Now what I need to do, let's hit update here, and I don't even know how to get out of this modification area. Or even if I need to. No, I do need to stay in the modification. So now I'm going to go to image, and let's do the heading first. I think that's going to be easier. So the content, see when I click on this, it added this content area on my heading. And so I basically need to tell it that this is the service card heading. And I need to make a connection between that div, that DOM element. It's not a div, it's a heading. That DOM element and the properties that I created. So I just made the connection right there. And notice that when I made that connection, what did it do? It said, hey, here's your default content that you asked for, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this paragraph text right here. Click content, and I'm going to say, this is the service card description. Connect. I'm connecting these just like you would do with custom fields and dynamic data. Just like you would do with custom fields and dynamic data. Now I go to the image. I'm guessing that we take the URL out of here. And I just don't know how Cwicly wants me to connect the image now, because it's not here. And keep in mind, this is a beta, so source. But maybe somebody from Cwicly who's done this knows how to make that. How do I make the image connection? That's what I want to do. Dynamic. Oh, right here, right here. Look at this little icon. Service card image. Okay, I made the connection. And I don't think there's a default image, so it's going to just put in this placeholder thing right here. Okay, so guys, we've built a component. The component is done. Technically speaking, the component is done. So now, what does this allow us to do? Let's preview this on the front end. Okay, good. So now what I want to do is I want to edit an instance of the component uniquely, because it doesn't make any sense to have 3 service cards that say the exact same thing, right? So what I need to do is I need to come in here and I need to customize my content. It appears that I can just click it and edit it, which is nice. So we're just going to say service number 1. And then we need a description of service number 1. So this is a description of service number 1. It's about 2 lines long. Okay, great. Now I'm going to click this. And I believe also, I thought there was a way over here. Isn't there? There you go, right here. So there's other block panel. Notice it puts the custom fields for you right here for the, I keep calling them custom fields, but they're whatever they're called. Forgot. Attributes, I don't know. But you can actually fill out a card from right here. So service card number 2. And so you can click into the canvas and edit, or you can edit right here. That's a really nice feature. And then I'm just going to copy this and say that this is service number 2. Okay. So now I'm going to click this one. And again, I could just literally, I don't even have to bother clicking on the actual elements. I can just fill out the custom fields just like you would do on like a custom post type or whatever. So service card heading, this is going to be service card number 3. And by the way, I'm not suggesting that this is how it should be done for service cards, right? We still have to talk about pulling data from a CPT as well, yada, yada, yada. Okay. We're just looking at the functionality of components. So now I'm going to hit update and I'm going to go to the front end, and we see that we can get unique content into each component. I need to set an image for each one. This is going to bring us back to Unsplash real quick. And so oh, that's an Unsplash Plus. Thank you. All right. So let's do, okay, this one, and let's do, okay, whatever. Let's go back here, grab this, set image, bing, bing. Squoosh, they're too big. Let's come in here, resize. My gosh, 10,000. No, we don't want that much. 1920. Okay. Can you squoosh, squoosh, wake up, squoosh. Squoosh is failing me. All right, 1920. What is it struggling with so much? Never struggles. All right, resize, 1920. Okay, thank you. Go back here, 1, 2, select, grab, select, 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 update, preview. Okay. Do you ever run into this problem with your cards where the aspect ratios of the image are not the same? If that happens to you, you can go to the image. I wonder if Cwicly has a... Now notice I didn't even put BIM classes on these. So that's going to be another interesting thing to look at. Technically with a component, I really shouldn't have to, but we're going to figure this out. So do they allow you to set aspect ratio? Because Bricks does not allow you to set aspect ratio in the builder controls. And I'm just curious if we might be able to find that in here somewhere. Sizing, there it is. Hey, look at that. So let's do 16 by 9. Let's hit update, save, refresh. Hey, okay. So now, question number 1. First of all, we've got unique content into all of these things. So here's an example of what you cannot do in Oxygen or Bricks. Let's say I wanted to add an icon above service number 1 right here. Well, I'm modifying the component, okay? So in my content wrapper, maybe right above my heading, I want to put a icon. So I don't know where this is actually going to put it. Let's hover over here. Is icon an option? Yes. Okay. Look how the icon magically appears in all of my cards. Why is the icon why did the icon just move in all of my cards? Do you think for a fucking second that you can do this in Bricks or Oxygen with unique content in every instance? The answer, my friends, is no, you can't do it. Okay. All right. Now what we need to do, because I added an element, we need to come up here to service card, and we need to, let's modify the component. We need to create a new property, and we're going to create an icon property. And this is going to be called service card icon. All right. And then our default, sure, it can be a globe, whatever. All right, so now what we need to do is figure out how to connect that property. So service card, and where do I go to? I'm going to click on the icon itself. I got to modify the only thing I get lost in is all these panels. Okay, icon right here. All properties, service card icon. Did that make the connection? I don't think that's making the connection. I need to figure out how to make the connection. Maybe I need to let's just refresh the builder just to make sure we're not, because I added new things. Maybe the builder doesn't have the property available. I don't really know what's going on. Modify component, icon, nope. Okay. Here's service card icon right here. I just don't know how to, there's no connect button like there was with the other things. So if you're a Cwicly person, where do I make the connection for icons? I would assume that it would be right there. Oh, wait. Oh, it's right here. Oh, this is the colors. That's the icon color. Sorry, my fault. So it's this icon section right here, this button, service card icon. Now we have it mapped. Okay. So now, guys, you have the ability. Okay. Oh, well, that looks like a bug. Null, null, null. I don't know what null is. Okay. Because we do have a default icon. Anyway, I'm going to go here. I didn't say it was going to be a bug-free experience. It is a beta. But now I can come down here and I can select what icons we're going to use for each service. So this will be like this icon, and it disappeared. This will be this icon. Let's see if they all disappear. Then maybe we can get them back. I bet I know how we can get them back. I bet I know what's going on. I don't know why it's saying null on the front end, but I may know what's going on here. So let's modify the component. And we're going to go into, I need the icon size. Let's just go into the icon and let's set a size. So let's just do like text L. There we go. Oh, you didn't know you can use text variables for icon sizes? Why, yes, my friend, you can. All right, so do we still have nulls on the front end? Yep, we have the icons. That's good, but we still do have nulls. Okay. But this shows you, like, I added an HTML component or an HTML element. And because I created a component, it showed up in all my iterations of that component. That is not possible in Bricks and Oxygen. And that is a tremendously helpful thing. Here's another thing. Let's just see if this works right. I didn't BEMify this component. But technically, if I add a class here, it should add this class in every instance of the component. So this would be my service card __ heading. All right, now I updated that, save, refresh on the front end, and I'm just gonna do a little inspection here. H3, so this one does not have it. This one doesn't have it either. Do any of them have it? And the question would be, why don't they? Service card heading. Oh, well, because I put it on the image. Well, that's you definitely don't want to do that. Okay, service card heading. All right, service card heading. I felt like because I clicked on the, okay, whatever. That's the other thing about Gutenberg. It's like, you know, what are you clicking on? There it is, service card heading. Look, it's going to be on all of them. Have you ever in Bricks created an element and put it in a grid and then you're like, shit, I didn't add my BIM classes. And then you either got to delete all the cards, right? And then put it on the one you want, get the one you want correct, and then duplicate it all. Or you got to, like a chump, you got to go one by one by one and add the class. Well, if you create a component, it doesn't matter what you forgot to do or, you know, did or didn't do in the beginning when you made the component, because the component can be updated at any point in time. And all instances of the component will receive the update. So you don't have to get it perfectly right before you make all instances. And it doesn't matter if I make a gazillion instances or 2 instances. I always have control over what's happening in the component. That's the whole point of having a component. And that's the tremendous power, right? If you don't have component functionality and then you create something and there's a gazillion instances of it, and then you go, oh, we forgot an icon. We forgot to put an icon in the component. Well, what are you going to do now? You don't have components. So good luck. Click on every instance manually of that element and add the thing that you forgot manually. That's what you're going to end up doing. With components, I don't have to be careful. I don't have to care about getting it perfectly right before we create a million instances, because all the instances are able to talk to the main component. Now in Bricks and Oxygen, you say, well, there are global components in Bricks and Oxygen. There are. Yeah, you can absolutely turn something in here. Let's just do this. I've got it here. I've got it right here. Let's go take a look. This is what people were telling me the other day. So we're going to add new, and we're going to say non-component. That's going to be a good name for it. Let's go edit with bricks. So this is whip together the exact same service card that we just created, okay? So here is, we can do this much faster in bricks because we actually know what the interface is doing. All right, grid, gap. All right, we're going to add a block. All right, we're going to call this a service card. I already have one. Damn. My service card. All right, copy that. My service card. All right, we're going to add our block. Okay. So that's going to be our media wrapper. We're going to put our media in there. Image, bam, choose, grab, insert, doesn't really matter. Okay, in here we're going to do our heading. And then we're going to try to add the icon after the fact, right? Bev is going to join the stream. In fact, where is Bev? Bev was here last week. Literally, Bev was here in the chat last week. I need her back. I need you, Bev, to ask for an icon in just a minute, okay? All right, so we're going to add a class to this. This is going to be content wrapper, bam. And I'm going to intentionally not put a BEM class on here and not put a BEM class on here so we can see the problem. More of the problem will appear. So we're going to go space M. We're going to apply that to all sides. And then we're going to go to our main block element, service card right here. And then we're going to go to background. We're going to go base ultra light. That's fine. Okay, we did our rounded corners as well, right? So border, radius, and we're going to go radius M, all sides. Thank you. And we're going to go to layout. Overflow is hidden. Perfect. We got rounded corners. Save. We need a little content gap in here. So row gap, content gap. Okay. Works better when you can type. Now let's view on the front end. Okay. So we just whipped up our little same exact thing that we've got going on. Now what I'm going to do, what you saw me do earlier, is duplicate. Actually, first, let's turn it into a global component. By the way, guys, I'll just be honest with you right now. I got no fucking clue what this does right here. I've tried to figure this out so many times. I don't know what this thing does. It doesn't do anything that you would expect it to do. I'll tell you that right now. If you want to create a global component, what you really need to do is hit save as template. Okay, so you hit save as template. And then you have to call this a section, which is not a section, but you got to call it a section. We're going to hit save. And now what you're going to do is you're going to insert a template and you're going to choose that thing. So we're going to say, and you can't even choose it because you have to refresh the builder. So we're going to save, we're going to refresh the builder. Okay, and then we're going to grab this and we're going to say service card. Okay, save. And then this instance, for some reason, has, caption type needs to be no caption. And this is just going to show you the fuckery that is involved in this. And this is why this is not what's going on in Cwicly. It decided to show the caption. I can't fix it. Because I can't access this. You know how I would have to fix that? I'll show you how I would have to fix it. You have to go back to the magic area. You got to go out of the builder and you got to go over here to bricks templates and you got to click on this service card that's now a template, but it's really a component, but it's really not even a component. And so we're going to hit edit with bricks. So and now, because I'm in a magic area that's not within the context of my grid anymore, see, this card looked fantastic when it was in a grid, but now it's just slapped on a page in a magic area. So it's like, oh, good, I get to edit a gigantic version of it. This is fun. So we're going to make sure that it's 100% width because that clearly didn't get accounted for the first time. And then we're going to, look, guys, let me go back. Where is this? Why am I seeing this? I am editing that's not here. That's not here. I know where it's coming from. It's coming from this caption type thing. I'm going to turn off the caption. No caption. Save. I don't even know if it's going to go away, honestly. Let's go right here. Okay, so we're good on the front end. Let's refresh the builder. Okay, it fixed itself. But look at the dance that I had to do. I had to go back to the magic area. I had to edit in the magic area. I got to come back. Okay, so now let's duplicate this again. And now you guys say, all right, you've got your global component. And then you say, all right, Kevin, add that icon. Add that. I'm going to show you guys. You're going to love this. You're going to love this. Add the icon to this element, guys. Okay, back to the magic area. We're going to add an icon to it. So let's add an icon. Does anybody know what's going to happen? Can you predict the future? All right, so icon into here. Icon, and what icon are we going to use, guys? It doesn't fucking matter because you'll never be able to fix it again. You'll never be able to decide to have a different one on a per card basis, so we don't even really have to care. So why isn't it on the first one? Well, the first one's not actually the component. The first one is the original thing that you built, but that's not the component anymore. It would only happen if you actually duplicated the template, which in the builder now needs to be refreshed. Guys, this is an absolute mess. Okay, so there they are. Now they've all got an icon. Now, that's a little too big. It's a little aggressive. Let's go size text L. Okay, now it's a little bit more manageable. So now let's go refresh. Hey, okay, all right. It all happened. Do you not know what's already about to occur? Okay, watch this. Now you finally get to the point where you're like, all right, cool. Let's put in the content. You can't now. All the cards, if you want them to stay as a component, are forced to have the same content. There is no unique content situation happening here because there's no way to map these to anything, right? So, but then you're like, well, Kevin, you could just unlink it. Okay, let's unlink it. So let's go, how do we, I even forget how to unlink it. You got to, instead of adding it as a template, you've got to add it from here. You've got to add it, there's two magic areas. So there's the magic area on the back end, and then there's this magic area where you can add the same thing, but not as a template, even though it's called a template. Okay. All right. We're going to add it here. And it did not add it into the grid. So let's put it in the grid. And it doesn't have an image. Now I can edit it, right? So I get the editing going. All right, so let's choose this. And now, guys, I can actually have unique content, unique heading. All right, and then I can say unique text. All right, save. Let's go to the front end. Did I achieve what I wanted? Yes. Womp womp. No. We'll just do all the sounds. Just do all the sounds. You know why? Because the minute you were like, well, no, this isn't the component version. This is just a thing that looks like it. Well, now watch I'm going to go back to the magic area where we're managing the component. Hey, Bev decided she doesn't want the icon anymore. Okay, no problem, Bev. All right, let's delete the icon. Let's hit save. Let's go back to the front end. Why does that one still have an icon? Because you unlinked it. It doesn't communicate with these anymore. You wanted unique content, you said. This is the problem. This is a disaster. This is a nightmare scenario. And so the only people who don't think that this is a disaster are the people who didn't realize that a builder could give you the functionality, like component functionality, like Webflow has given, like Cwicly is giving you. Having this componentized functionality in Cwicly is, I've said it, it's an absolute game changer. It's the biggest missing feature from Bricks and Oxygen. And it is a high demand feature. When people actually start using components, just mark my words. If Bricks offers it, if Oxygen offers it, if people start using Cwicly en masse, here's exactly what's going to happen. There will come a point, it won't take very long, where people will basically say, how did we live without this? That will be the general consensus of component functionality in page builders. Right now, people are like, I can't even imagine people using this. The consensus in a year will be, I can't believe we built sites without this functionality. The consensus will completely flip from what it is right now, okay? So you just mark my words. You can come back to this stream in a year. Now, if Oxygen doesn't add it, if Bricks doesn't add it, well, if they haven't added it in a year, we probably won't be using them. But it's once people get their hands on component functionality and realize, because what I've shown you, by the way, with the components in Cwicly, that's just scratching the absolute surface. That's the skin of the apple, my friends. Okay. It goes way deeper, way deeper. So I'll repeat it again, just so there's nobody lost or confused. Give people components for a year and then ask them, and they will be like, I don't know how I build sites without that. That's it. That's what the consensus is going to be. Okay, let me read some comments. By the way, let's just here. Notice in Cwicly how everything that I wanted to do involving this component was done in the builder workflow. That is another critical piece for user experience. This idea of magic areas. So generate press, putting you on blast. Oxygen, putting you on blast. Bricks, putting you on blast. What else? Pretty much all of them, honestly. Pretty much every builder. Even Cwicly has a back end. Let me go to it. I'm pretty sure they have a magic area somewhere in here. So let's go to Cwicly, role editor, settings, themer. What's this thing? Yeah, okay. So this is a magic area right here. Templates, parts, fragments. Magic, there's a magic area. Doesn't exist in the builder workflow. So people ask me, what would the number one thing, Kevin, if you built a builder from scratch, what is the number one thing you would make sure you change? No magic areas. I'll put automatic CSS on blast. This is a magic area. It was way better at the time. Here, let's just talk about this. Automatic CSS was the first framework to give users a visual dashboard for manipulating the framework. Period. Point blank. If I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure we were the first ones. And so we didn't have anything to go off of. It was like, well, this is what I think would be the best experience. And if you measure this experience compared to the experiences before with no visual dashboard, this fucking crushes. This was amazing. This made life so much easier and still makes life very, very, very easy, right? But we evolve over time. And, you don't realize what could eventually be when you're trying to make progress on things. So we made progress, right? This is a magic area though. And what I've decided, the number one principle of web design workflow with page builders and WordPress, do not create magic areas. So in Bricks, let me go back. Let me get out of here. Here we go. Dashboard. Bricks, templates, magic area. Oh, Breakdance. That's the other one. Breakdance, I'll put them on blast because they're fucking proud of their magic areas. Right? This idea that, you're going to go to this magic area over here to create global styles and this other magic area to create, presets, whatever they call them. Fuck all that. Don't take me to a magic area to do anything. Magic areas are the bane of my existence. Every time I want to do something, it's like, got to leave the builder, got to go somewhere else, got to do things over here. Then I got to come back to the builder. Shit, that didn't work. Okay, go back to the magic area. This is not workflow. Flow is not anywhere in that term, okay? So this templates area, even custom fonts. Don't make me come back here to do this shit. Notice when we were working in Cwicly, I never had to go to a magic area. Everything I wanted to do with the component was right here. Is it the best layout possible? Is it the best UX? No, I think it could be dramatically improved. But at least I didn't have to go somewhere else to work on it. Imagine, it was confusing enough right here, just kind of figuring out where everything is. Imagine if I'm hopping back and forth between the builder and some other magic area. Look what happened in Bricks when they took me to a magic area. What the fuck is this? What is this? I don't want this as my user experience. I was designing cards in a grid. This is what I want to look at. But in a magic area, it doesn't have the context of this. So in a magic area, I would have to come set like a width of some sort. So let's just do 30 M or rim. It doesn't even matter. Okay, finally, now I can look at but it's touching the edge of the screen because it has no context for where it lives because it's a magic area. It's separate from the entire workflow. And I don't want a width on this card. I don't want a width. I want its width to be Because I'm never gonna add this card to a page without any other context. I don't care what the width is, but in order to edit it in the magic area, it's like I almost have to give it a width. I have to do something I don't want to do just to see it render properly. This is a problem with magic areas. So the number one principle is let people do everything that they need to do in the builder. Don't make them go anywhere else. If you want to nail workflow, if you want the number one page building workflow, hands down, without question, let them do everything that they need to do from right here. I just love the fact that I could switch pages in bricks, because coming from Oxygen, you can't even do that. You can't even stay in the builder to switch pages. You got to go back to the WordPress admin, go to the pages area, click on it. So much wasted time and energy and headaches. Think, here I am with variables and utility class. I'm flying through page development, and the only thing holding me back is the fucking builder, making me go back to WordPress, back to a magic area, back to, it gets such, it's horrible after a while. You're like, not again, not again. You hate every time you have to leave the canvas. You hate your life. So the principle I came up with is just like another principle. You want another principle? Don't add an element to a page, like an inner wrapper, that the user doesn't have access to. I mean, these are just basic rules of building a page builder, okay? Don't violate these rules and you'll create a good user experience. There's so many, because there's so many violations that I've run into that I've got a whole, we could just do a whole document of them. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Magic areas is at the top of the list. Adding wrappers that people don't have access to, second on the list, okay? All right, is that enough of a rant? For WordPress, theme codes components has got all these builders beat. Okay, I don't know. So I can go use theme. People say, try this, try that. And here's the thing. There's a lot that goes into whether a builder is viable or not from my perspective as an agency owner, as a framework developer, a lot of things, okay? So let me just rattle them off the top of my head. I haven't written on this, and I'm the kind of person, if you haven't, yes, I've tried Framer. It's an absolute fucking disaster. We can go look at Framer. We can go look at Framer in just a minute. I'm not talking about Framer's workflow, mind you. I'm talking about what Framer produces. Okay, look at the DOM. Disaster DOM. Absolute, like the worst DOM I've ever seen in my life, coming out of Framer. So I have a whole video plan. Anyway, I do these streams off the cuff, and my brain for organizing thoughts, I have to write things down. So if I write a whole article on something, then I can go talk about it really well. If I've never written an article, if my brain hasn't physically written the ideas down, then you get what you get. Okay. And that's, so I do try to pack a little bit of entertainment in here because of the fact that I'm rambling half the time. So that brings me to what the fuck were we just talking about in the first place? You got me off track with the Framer thing. As a framework developer, as an agency owner, what makes a builder successful? Well, all the fundamentals, first of all. So and I did a whole video on this, 20 different things the builder has to have, but then there's more beyond that. So let's start with the technical aspects. Go watch the video of 20 features a page builder must have to check the box. Be okay, good to go. That's all on the technical side. Now, what else does it has to have? It has to have a user base. So it could be the greatest builder that I've ever seen in my life. And if nobody uses it, nobody else uses it, that's kind of a problem. As a framework developer, it means I don't have a community to market my product to. And don't get me started on all the fucking you just want money thing. I've said it time and time again. If I just cared about money, ACSS would be for Elementor, and that'd be the end of the story, okay? Obviously, I care about the builders and their community, so that's not the only thing I'm looking for. But at the same time, I've never been able to walk into the bank and try to, as many times as I've tried, I'd be like, hey, I got 12 views on the video. Can that pay my mortgage? No. Turns out views don't pay the mortgage. None of that stuff. Only money actually pays bills, okay? So if there's a community around a builder and there's 12 people in it, That's tough. Okay. That's tough. So, and then I also, by the way, if there's 12 people in the community, don't know what the longevity of the builder is. Why would I switch to this builder when it's like, well, how is that developer eating, right? If that developer can't pay his bills, how long is this page builder going to be around? So a very small community around a builder, it's like, that's kind of scary. There's a lot of risk there. It's a lot of risk. So it's got to have a community around it. It also has to have other third-party developers. It has to have content creators. I look for a lot of different things that signal, hey, this thing has legs, all right? Cwicly is gaining legs right now. Cwicly is gaining legs. And content creators are a big part of it. If you get content creators, which, by the way, that's what fucking irked me so bad about Lewis from Oxygen, not Lewis from Cwicly, Lewis from Oxygen, and that infamous live stream, the fact that he tried to say that content creators didn't have anything to do with the success of Oxygen. Give me the biggest fucking break you've ever given me. Like, that is just dumb. And he knows it's dumb, which is why he's trying to he's trying to recruit content creators to create content for breakdance. He knows how dumb that statement was. And it is mind-blowingly dumb. Mind-blowingly dumb. A product has to have content creators. Okay, that's how it gets legs. And that's why Framer, let's talk about Framer again. Man, this just goes in all different directions, doesn't it? Framer's getting legs quickly because of their affiliate program. And here's where I'll call out content creators, because I don't do this shit. Okay, the stream, the channel, I don't have sponsors. I don't run ads. Half my videos don't even have the ads turned on. Like, have you ever noticed that you try to watch a video on this channel and half the time there's no ads? And if there is an ad, it's at the beginning and it's skippable. There's never an ad. Find me one video on this channel that has an ad in the content. You won't. You can't find it. I turn them all off. I don't want to interrupt users and viewers with ads. I don't give a fuck about ad money. Like, ad money, it's chump shit, okay? I'd rather have people be able to watch the videos than me make another penny on an ad. So none of that is going on. What you'll see is these tools come out and they create these like great affiliate programs, and they try to go. They go. You know how many emails I get? Will you please do a video for us? Do a video for us. We'll make you an affiliate. Do a video for us. Do a video for us. Make it. They get all of these content creators into these affiliate programs, and then they instruct them on how to go create. They actually will give you instructions on the type of content to create and so on and so forth. So Framer has come out of nowhere because they've amassed an army of content creators who are backed by affiliate commissions to go tell you how great this tool is. And the only reason they're telling you this tool is great is because of the affiliate commissions. And I will call out content creators on that shit all day long. The reason you can come to this channel and know that like what you're hearing is fact is because I don't care about affiliate commissions. I don't care about advertisers or anything else. So I can get up and tell you Framer is absolute dog shit. The UX is, it's like a Figma-like experience that you end up with an actual functional web page. Fantastic concept. Execution, dog shit. The DOM is terrible. The DOM is the worst DOM I've ever seen in my life. Go use Framer to assemble a page. Go look at the DOM. It is a nightmare, like prison time. Okay? Felonious behavior, as we say here. So the fact that a creator can get up there and be like, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. No, what they should be saying is, wow, there's a massive quality issue with the code output. And by the way, it does come from the fact that once again, we're trying to create a tool that everybody can use. Come on in. Hey, everybody's welcome. You don't have to know what the fuck you're doing. Come on in and use the tool. And yes, visually you can get to what looks like a web page pretty easily and quickly. However, there's no semantic tags to speak of. There's sections inside of sections. It is just an absolute nightmare of a DOM. No scalability, no maintainability, there's nothing that matters is actually being done. Can you do those things? Probably. I don't know. But the other thing with Framer, I mean, let's just use it real quick. Framer.com. I used it for like 5 minutes just to look at the DOM, and I was like, it's exactly what I thought it was. I don't know what to do here. Let's go here. Okay, good. No, we're not doing AI. New project. The problem with experiences like this is, okay, right off the bat, we see the problem. All right, let me double click this. All right, so 1366. Okay, now I can do, see, this all I like. I can get on board with all, it's like a Figma-like, experience. That's great. Quit asking me to start with AI. Like, that is bothersome. All right, here's pages over here. I need insert layout. Frame, image, rows, columns, grid. Wrong. It's wrong. Immediately it's wrong. Okay, stop this. Stop. Every builder does this. This is for pure beginners. They think that this is friendly. And what's friendly to a beginner makes no sense to somebody that knows what they're doing. A grid and columns and rows are not different elements. Full stop. These are not different elements. Okay, let's go in to here. All right, delete. I don't care. Get rid of all of this. All right, let's add a section. A section is an element. Why is it an element? Because it has a special semantic HTML tag called section. It has an inner container. Okay, this inner container, I want it to be a grid. Now it's a grid. I want it to be a row. Now it's a row. I want it to be a column. Now it's a column. You don't need separate elements. And why are you giving me separate elements? Because presumably, if I use the columns element, how do I even use it? I got to draw it on the page. Fantastic. You're trying to turn a development thing into a design experience. You're gonna force people to learn two different workflows now. Size, width, fixed. Do I want it to be fixed? No. Let's delete. Can I add a section? Does a section do anything? There is no section. There is no section. Okay, so let's add a frame. All right, this is fun. What have I just done? I'm trying to add a section in bricks. Let's review. Let's close some things. We don't need all this. Okay. So in bricks, how fast can I add a section? Done. Okay. Now let's go into Framer. What did I have to do? Oh, you got to draw a cute little box on the screen. Here's your little box. I can't even get it going. All right. My cute little box. It has a background color. Why does it have a background color? I didn't ask for a background color, but yet here it is. Okay. Let's set it to white. Am I doing that at the class level, the ID level? I don't see any classes. I don't see the things that I need. Where are my tools? My real tools. Okay. I see a bunch of inputs, but where are the tools just to get started, right? Like classes. Like how do I don't want to just style everything independently. I already know that. So I'm looking for a way to globally style things. Don't think that's possible. Where's my inner container? How do I create a gutter? I can't even start to assemble a page because I don't know what they want me to do. But let me go to layout. Let me go to rows. You get to draw rows, okay? Now, and that is stuck there, okay? I can't, okay, no, it does move. All right, I'm gonna center it. Now, I don't even know why we're off on this tangent. Look, I can change the fucking direction. Why is it called two separate things if it can just be both of them? And it can also be a grid. Why are there three options up here? This is very confusing. Very, very confusing. Okay. And what is it called in the structure panel? Where is my structure panel? Layers. Oh no, don't do this to me. Okay. All right. So I have columns, frame. Guys, there is no such thing as a frame in web design. Okay. Like this should be a section, right? And then can I actually make it a section? Where on here? Here we go. Tag, section, section. Awesome. Okay. Woo. Columns. So really what I need is an inner container. I don't want columns. Like what if I just want another frame? I guess I have to just add a blank one like this. All right. And then see, like in bricks, it would have positioned itself, would have auto-centered itself. It would have done a, now I got to figure out, okay. It's one, but I know heights are not what we want to be using here. I don't want fixed sizes, but it's trying to give me fixed sizes by default. It's not once asked me for like my padding. It's such a foreign, like, what are we trying to do here? It also has the fill color again, which I don't know why it has the fill color. All right, let's add some text. Here we go. Look at how the text is not positioned in the container. So heading. How do I make it a heading? Did I have an option of adding a heading? No, I just have text. Okay, so why wouldn't, like, don't you think the semantic tag for like what kind of heading is this or what kind of text is this should be like towards the top? Now I got to scroll all the way down here and find it down there. And now it changed to the H2, but the style didn't change. I mean, what? Oh, I guess all text in Framer looks the same. Probably got to go to some magic area to set up all of your styles. And look, it's just floating in the box. It's like, it doesn't behave like web design behaves. It behaves like a, drag and drop design tool. Okay, why? So anybody can use it. So you can position stuff anywhere. I don't really care. I want to see the front end. Now, keep in mind, I changed this to a section tag. Would a beginner know to change that? No, they would leave it as a div or whatever it was. So I'm going to update this, and we're going to go to, play. Is that, okay. Is that what we're doing here? We play our pages now. Okay. This is still in a iframe of some sort. So I don't want to see it. How can I get to the front end? Well, this is a fun game. This link. Okay. Inspect. Good. Okay. Let's just see. Is it worse than Elementor? Wow. We have a div. Come on. Framer can't even get the basics right. We have a div with the ID of main. Why is that not like that? So there's no main tag. You're not given a main tag. Just, hey, you don't need one of those. So no main tag whatsoever. Just a div with an ID of main. We're going to open that up and we're going to see what is this? It's not a section. It's just a div. I'm going to open that up. Hey, you got another div. Whoa, this one's got a min height of 100% on it. We're going to open that div. Then we get another div. Oh, this has the name of section, but it's not an actual section. It just has the div tag. Then we're going to open that up, and here's our inner, apparently. And then we're going to open that up, and we get another div. Well, guys, that's a heading. Why is it a div? Well, let's just open that up, see what's inside there. And finally, I get to an H4. Man, it's just, like what? This is terrible. Absolutely terrible. And so the work that we would have to do, I mean, think about this. How do I even get back to the editor? I don't even know how to get back to the editor. All right, let's go back here. So anytime I want to add a section, I got to, draw it. Then I got to come down here and I got to change this tag manually because there's no section element, right? Insert. Well, here's sections, but they're all pre-done. Yeah, there's no actual section element. I don't know if you can create your own elements, but like the fundamentals of web design are not here. Section, container, div. Like Bricks gives you a block, which is nice, but you don't even need a block. Section has to be there. Container that goes in the section has to be there. Div has to be there. Framer doesn't feel that you need any of those things. They feel you should draw sections onto the page instead of sections being, what is this? The fact that I can just do that, broken. Because this is not how, like, it's gonna start positioning everything absolute on the back end. It's no scalability, man. It's a nightmare. No, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. We're getting out of this. So once again, content creators, though, I mean, go watch a video on Framer. They think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. This is what the future of web design is going to be. Not anytime soon. I'll tell you that right now. But I'm glad you're getting your commissions on the beginners that you're luring to your channel. Hey, come on, beginners. You just drag stuff around, drop it wherever it goes, hit publish, use the AI feature. Now, they're making money off the backs of people who have no idea what's going on and no idea what an experience should be like. It's all for affiliate commissions. That's the only reason why people are talking good about Framer is affiliate commissions. And that's why I got to call content creators out, because that doesn't serve anybody. People actually sell Framer sites to real clients seriously. And I don't know if they are or not. So I don't claim to know. I mean, it's a very new tool. Who needs sections when you have the AI feature? The Framer sites are very non-accessible too, even their own way. Yeah, for sure, because the DOM is a nightmare. You can't have accessibility with a nightmare of a DOM. Like it relies on a clean DOM. I'm reading Max's comment here. Works on a designer level and assumes markup to emulate the visual positioning and add some groupings with rows and columns. It's also an abstraction to React. How long do we have to watch Framer shit? No more. Trust me, no more. We're not revisiting Framer anytime soon. Literally out of nowhere, just woke up one day, Flux Academy, most videos are like, Webflow, what? Framer all the way. Yeah. I mean, because if you don't have anything nice to say. Okay. So back to Cwicly components. We're going to jump back to more Q&A. What time is it here? 1:30. Okay. 30 more minutes. 30 more minutes I'll give you. Then I got to get out of here. I got actual work to do. We can do questions about Cwicly components. We can do questions about anything that you want to ask questions about. We can go into business now. We can go into anything. Anything you want. It's a free-for-all now. I do really want my own builder. Like I really, really want my own builder. The problem is I don't want to do the work that's required to get my own builder. It's such a tough situation to be in. That's why I'm using builders that are, they're very close to what they should be. And it's just like, all right, you got to put up with some quirks. And there will never be a perfect builder. Even if I made my own builder, it wouldn't be perfect to a lot of people. For sure. But I think what we could do is, there are some things that I think everybody with like two brain cells to rub together could come to the same conclusion on, like the magic area thing. Does anybody enjoy the fact that they have to leave the builder canvas to go do things in a different area? Does anybody actually enjoy that? Or could we all just come to an agreement that like, no, if I could do it in the builder canvas, it should be done in the builder canvas? Pretty like sensical things. Sensible. Both. Sensical and sensible. Do you check blood pressure after the live streams? I should. Maybe we'll just go into, we're deep enough into the stream. Let's just go into, let's just grab a generate install here. Well, that's not the screen that we wanted. We want generate. Maybe we just look at some, just sneak peek. Maybe a little bit more on the sneak peek side of things. Let me get rid of this tab over here, this tab over here. Let me make sure we're still screen sharing. It appears that we are. Ruben says, I love the magic area, but I want it in the builder. So you really don't want the magic area. Okay, here's GenerateBlocks. I'm just we'll rag on them for a second and then we'll just show the better stuff. So it's like this global styles area. This is a magic area. I've never even used this section, but this is a magic area too. Local patterns, magic area. Okay. Let's go into an actual page. Edit. This site actually has, this is the one, actually admin bar is here. Shout out to admin bar. This is the install that I actually rebuilt his homepage on. Go to the front end. So this is all with GeneratePress, GenerateBlocks, and automatic CSS. So basically I was like, you know what? I need a real site to like build so I can make sure nothing breaks and everything's actually working. So this is actually on, on Generate. So I think it was in the main testing page. And actually, I don't know if I unhooked. We need to make sure. Does this still save? Because this is actually hooked into VS Code, I think. Some of these installs, I have it hooked into VS Code, and some of them I actually have the plugin installed. Let's just see what installed this. I don't even know of a fast way to check. Okay, I think this is hooked in. Okay. First things first. I'm just going to leave this. I'm just going to select this container, okay? And I'm just going to leave the page like it is. What do you guys notice? What is different about this? If you're a Generate, I don't know if there's any Generate users here. There's a very important difference. Something has been added that is not usually there. It's actually usually buried somewhere else. That's all the hint I give. We're looking for the first Easter egg. And this is actually not just a GenerateBlocks edition. This is actually Gutenberg in general. We have made Gutenberg, and it's something I talk about all the time. We have brought something very important to Gutenberg. Anybody know? Anybody know? You still have over 100 people here. I hate the delay on the chat. Okay, if nobody knows within the next 10 seconds, I'm just going to tell you. I guess nobody knows. I guess they can't find it. All right, so this right here. This is critical. Oh, there it is. Max said it. Max said it. Okay. Yeah, so now in Gutenberg, when you have automatic CSS installed, you are going to have a class first workflow in Gutenberg, my friends. You can now, it's not truly class first because you can't edit these classes. But that's the downside of Gutenberg. I mean, Gutenberg, hey, who needs classes, right? Who needs them? Now, this is not the only thing. So let me take this away. And actually, hero pad, I don't want to break this page. Let's go to a different page. So let's go to our about page as an example. And then let's make sure this is full width. Okay, so basically it would work like this. You add a container, and then you add the inner section for the container. And then I need to get my structure panel back. All right, and then when you change this to a section, which is annoying. This is annoying. There's no section element in Generate. But I change this to a section, you're going to see that it gets ACSS's default section padding, which is pretty good. So then we're going to update here. We're going to add a heading. You didn't add anything. Let me add a headline. This is going to be hero section right here. And then we can add in Generate, this is, we're knocking people, right? This is my lead paragraph. You actually have to add the heading element and then up here, change it to a paragraph. And it still says it's a heading over here in the structure panel, but it's actually not. It's a little bit longer. Okay. So then we're going to hit update, and we're just going to see what we have on the page, which again, you got a preview, and I hate this preview link, so I'm just going to take this away. Okay. So hey, we got what we want. Now, question is, can we use things like utility classes? So here's our class first workflow up here. So I'm going to grab the outer, what it amounts to the section, okay? And check this out. I can just write classes, obviously. So like BG, base, ultra, dark. Or let me choose a different family so you can actually see it. So BG white will give us white. BG, base, this ultra light. There you go. Okay, and we have light, whatever. All right, so we got a lot of things that we can choose from. Or I can right click. Now I have all of the whole cheat sheet, basically. And I have live preview, right? Oh, that's nice. And I can actually drag this now. And I can actually resize this now. I can put this wherever I want. It can just hang out. And then as I add things, you're going to see them get added right here, right? And then I wanted to go over maybe change let's see. How about some spacing? Let's go with, how about some section padding? Maybe we can change that on the fly. You get to a little preview here of what your spacing is going to look like. Let's make this small. It's going to add it up there. And I actually like the fact that if I click it again, it's actually going to remove it from up there. So you don't actually have to worry about like copying, deleting, all this other stuff. So you can just add these here. So we can hit save. Let's right click that again. Notice it remembers where I wanted my panel to be. So wherever you put it, it's going to remember where you wanted it. So I can do text. Let's do base dark. And then I can select my heading and I can do text base dark on this one. I can hit update and I can go over here. That's not the page I'm previewing. Hey, look at that. So I got smaller section padding, changed my text color, changed my background color. I can also go over here if I wanted to do this with, instead of utility classes. So let's take out pad section S and text base dark, something like that. I can go over into our panels here. So padding on this container right here, I can do my right click. There's my spaces right there. So I don't even have to write the variables. Okay, so this is nice. I also believe I have variable expansion. Yep, I believe I do. I also believe I have, let's test it out, 60 CTR. Oh, I got the rim converter in here also. It's shaping up, guys. It's shaping up. I don't think I have to show anything else. Can you dock the panel? I want to be able to dock the panel, or it's not dockable yet, but I do want to make it dock. The challenge is we're in Gutenberg, right? So it's like if somebody's using Generate, they may want to dock it. Like you can't dock it here, then it would cover this up, or maybe it would have to move everything else out of the way. There's a lot of logistics to docking. There's not a lot of logistics to this, right? So it's just another thing that we have to continue to put more thought into. But I mean, the fact that we're here with just the ability to like, you know, quickly on the fly, add utility classes, and you don't even have to know, you know, what they are, right? It's like you can search for whatever you want. You have the cheat sheet. Anybody that's used Plaster before, right? This contextual functionality, it's really, really helpful, especially to beginners, especially when you're learning the framework. Because like I said, you can always just go up here and type what you need. If you know the names of the classes, you can just go ahead and type them. But having the cheat sheet available where you can just come in and bam, it's like it's there. Then I click it again, it removes it, that kind of thing. So much easier. When you're down here, the fact that like, you know, exactly what you would probably want comes up automatically when you right click the input field, really, really, really speeds up workflow. And then, you know, if you are just typing, right, the variable expansion and that kind of stuff, really, really, really good for workflow. But I mean, think about this, like without automatic CSS, you don't even have this classes box here, like much less everything else, right? You don't even have this. They don't even give you this in Gutenberg. It's buried under the advanced panel down here. So anything that you want to do with classes is an absolute nightmare. You install automatic CSS, class first workflow in Gutenberg is there by default. It's very nice, very nice. The only thing that's missing, which, you know, you would have to have a Cwicly kind of thing to add, is if I want to make a custom class, like my custom section. So what do I do now? Because I can't, none of these inputs apply styles to this class. So what I have to do if I want to use BIM, this is the real challenge. Like you can't use BIM really with Generate unless you're okay with magic areas. Because now I've got to go to the customizer. And then, oh, here's another fantastic thing about Gutenberg. So where was I? This page gone. Okay, here it is. So here's the section with my custom section. So now I'm going to go add my custom section. And then I can do stuff to it. Let me, it doesn't have any other styles, right? Okay. So I'm going to hit update. I'm going to do like background color, var action. Okay. So there's that, right? I'm going to hit publish. We're going to go back into the builder and I'm going to refresh. Do you guys notice the problem here? One, I got to go to a magic area to write CSS. That's a problem. So we've already talked about magic areas sucking. Okay, so now because of that, I'm flipping back and forth between tabs. But what are you noticing? What are you noticing? Guys, do you realize, you know, when I talk about Gutenberg being a trash can, this is the WordPress customizer. This is not the Generate customizer. This is not the Bricks customizer. This is the WordPress customizer. This is WordPress's native editing environment. They don't fucking talk to each other. The styles that you write here don't show up in Gutenberg by default. You have to add a function to your themes, functions.php file to make the customizer styles show up in the Gutenberg canvas. They don't even talk to each other. The two native areas of WordPress don't talk to each other. What is going on? It's insanity. It's insanity. But yeah, so if you want to use a BEM workflow, you've got to add your custom class to an element. Then you've got to go to a separate area and basically write CSS. So if you don't know how to write CSS, you're SOL, as they say. GeneratePress is not the site builder. CSS is in block themes, is integrated since, I don't know what that means. GeneratePress is just adding blocks to Gutenberg. This is the native Gutenberg environment. So the fact, if I added a native Gutenberg block, like it's still not going to pick up stuff that I do in the customizer. That's a big problem. Have you ever had to audit Bev's magic area? Listen. You're going to get us canceled. You're going to get, this is a family. It's not a family stream, but what magic area is not talking to other magic areas? How dare you, WordPress? Correct. Okay. That's a good sneak peek. That's all we need to look at in terms of Generate. For Generate users, I mean, I feel like this is an absolute game changer. I am curious to see what the Generate community is going to, what their initial reaction, because here's what we're going to do. I'm going to record a video building a page in Generate with GeneratePress, GenerateBlocks Pro, and automatic CSS with the class first workflow and the right-click context menus and the variable expansion. And then I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to drop it right there into the GeneratePress community, and we'll see what happens. I only care about one magic area, and it ain't on WordPress. Oh, gosh. We definitely need some t-shirts that allude to some things. Okay. Are there any Generate users in the house? I know we've got the admin bar in the house. They are. But anybody else? Anybody else? Because I've got like 4 or 5 people beta testing Generate. All of this is dropping on August 1st, by the way. And then Cwicly's next. So imagine we're in Cwicly and you have the cheat sheet. This actually shouldn't be here. We got to remove this. This is why we don't have official integration with Cwicly yet, because we got to go fix some things for some Cwicly users. But yeah, imagine, you got your right-click context menu. Oh, actually, I just don't think we have live preview. Let me see. No, it's still not going to. See, this is the kind of stuff you run into. I wonder, though, if design, layout, where's spacing? See, I'm confused Cwicly on the primary tab typography versus design typography. Is this the same thing? It appears to be the same thing. I guess there's more than one way to get there. I don't know. But it's a little confusing. Okay, let's go to spacing, sizing, height, aspect ratio. I don't know why we don't have the aspect. Why don't we have the search bar in Cwicly? This is why we don't support Cwicly yet. 2.7. But I was going to try to add, where's padding? Okay. I wonder if, yeah, it doesn't work yet. And I'm guessing variable expansion doesn't work yet. Okay. That's why that's next. That's 2.7, not 2.6. But for Cwicly users, imagine you've got the context menus, you've got the variable expansion, the calc expansion, you've got, just game-changing for workflow. I'm a subscriber to GenerateBlocks and I own GeneratePress. I use GenBlocks, but looking for FSC-style alternative to GenPress like Frost. Man, I haven't even heard about Frost. Okay. All right. that's probably it for today. It's been fun. August 1st, mark your calendar. That's when ACSS 2.6 is dropping. Fantastic update with a lot of goodies. I'm going to have a lot of videos streaming one after another right after 2.6 drops. Then it's on to 2.7 with Cwicly, official Cwicly integration. That's when things will get really fun for the Cwicly community. And then I can't really reveal much after that. But everybody knows we're marching to 3.0. And 3.0 is going to be a completely new workflow experience. And that's what excites me the most. All right, I want to thank everybody for showing up today. 3 hours in the books. You guys are rock stars. Hopefully you got value out of this today. And I will be back next Wednesday. It's every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern. I'll be right here. Peace. Love you guys. See you again very soon.